All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. All right, let's start out by taking some attendance. Ryan is present. John is present. Deanne is present. Mr. Duplinsky, are you on the video? Are you on the Zoom?
Nobody's on Zoom.
Nobody yet, so he's out. Now, I'm here. Michael is here. Mr. Seuss is here. Mr. Stone is here, and Ms. Wells is here. Wonderful. We have a quorum. Okay. First topic here is Zoom voting revisited. Mr. Bergeron raised a question with Chet and I about whether or not people who were on Zoom could in fact vote. And we had Chet had gotten some bad information from
Well, somebody had offered, he said they had done some research.
Right.
I took it for that meeting, but
Mhm.
when John questioned it, I went back and did my own research and we agree with John.
Right, but meaning that we can have folks who are on Zoom vote, but we would do a roll call, which is much more preferable to not having someone on Zoom and.
And everybody and the committee has to vote to accept it each time, like.
That's right.
It's okay
Yeah,
for them to
can't
be
do it
there and
once.
then they vote.
Yeah, something about, is it a reasonable reason for them not to be? Something.
The minutes have to reflect the reason they're absent.
That's correct. Thank you, John.
Can I speak to that too?
Oh, certainly.
So if you're gonna vote each item, whether the people there can vote or not, it has to do with whether they're involved in the conversation. So if they came on halfway through, then they can't vote. They have to have they have to have participated in the whole conversation. Same reason why you really can't have email votes.
Well, that's not what the law says,
I'm pretty sure it does.
when it's not. I mean,
Well,
it's a
I'll
logical thing.
defer to you. I'll respectfully disagree.
All right, noted. But I think generally speaking, my take is that if one of us are not able to attend for whatever reason that makes sense, not that they're lazy and they want to sit around in their pajamas, obviously. And they try to get in and they want to participate, I think we should include them and have the vote count.
Well, so
Start, Brian. Yes,
if you can you attend the meeting and get credit for attending the meeting via Zoom?
yes.
If you have a valid reason.
If you have a valid reason,
You
and
have to be,
we'll note that at the beginning.
That's why I was thinking the law was going, if you can attend by
but it's,
virtual and you have a reason for attending virtually, then you should be able to participate
Agreed.
fully.
I agree
Right.
with that.
And
that's what the law
that's the
says.
intent.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't completely paying attention, Sal.
Sorry.
But you're here.
So people on Zoom don't count towards the quorum or they do?
They do not count.
They do not count for the quorum.
Okay, thank you. I apologize if you're.
No, we didn't even discuss that, but
Okay.
they don't, I'm sorry, but yes, that's the reading that I saw.
That's what Tom Bergeron schooled me on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank God we have John around. All right, so we don't have anyone on Zoom, or do we?
Yeah.
Nobody on Zoom. Okay, good. So we won't worry about that next. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the meeting notes from September 18.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? No discussion being heard. Can I get a vote on approving the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstains? Thank you very much. That's done. Okay. I sent out a revised schedule. Something I was not clear on, but I put it in there anyway, which is the sequence of events. On December 20, we have the capital improvement plan, which I have to present. And then vote on the budget committee proposed 2026 budget. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes. And then on the 18th, we have an open meeting just in case. But it appears, when are we going to see the select board's proposed final budget check? The select board, and we have
You talk about the warrants and stuff?
no, no, warrants are later. Somewhere.
I mean, cause you guys send the budget next to the select board. And that
Okay.
would be the early January thing where they would be taking that and viewing it, and then
Right.
you have your final public hearing and.
Right, so
vote.
where do we get the final version from the select board?
I would expect that if you're done on the 20th, it would be
The 18th.
the first meeting in January is what?
Right now, it's the 13th or 14th.
No, that's your meeting.
Yes,
What about the select board meeting, so the first Tuesday, it's like the 6th or something? 5th. It'll be January 5th, they would be then sending it back to you guys.
so on January 5, we would be getting
They would be January 6th.
6.
Their meeting's the sixth.
Yeah, they would be voting on your budget to say, yes, we agree, and then it comes back to you.
Okay, so we approve our budget, we send it to them,
They
they,
send it, and then.
and if they have any
basically-
differences of opinion.
Right, and they can make their recommendations, you can review it at the last meeting, and then you will have a public hearing once you're done, and then vote on the final.
So I'm hearing we should have a meeting before the January and 13th? Or is this the 13th and 14th?
I would argue that unless there's a significant change, you won't need an extra one.
Right, so the
If it
13th.
Would have to be
14th.
something like, okay, we gotta cut 4% out of the budget.
Yeah.
and That's a whole other.
All right, so we can make that decision on an ad hoc basis on this, after we get their comments back.
Yeah.
And then on the 13th or 14th, we're gonna have we'll vote on warrants,
Mhm.
the warrants on at that date.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the deliberative session.
And once we get through probably November. Because the budget committee may say, like last year, there was a couple things that were brought from warrants into the budget. So as soon as we have that kind of like, this is what we want to be warrants, which is what we want in the budget, we can then prepare the warrants and go from there.
Okay. All right, are there any other questions, comments on the schedule at all? No. Okay. Thank you very much. That's good. Got that finally squared away in my mind anyway.
Say there was a meeting on the 20th? I have the.
I think you meant November 20th.
Oh.
You said December 20th. I think you meant
Okay,
November
thank
20th.
you. That's
what I did mean.
And December, the first meeting in December is the one where you're gonna be reviewing revenues and stuff like that. And that's when we talk tax rate and all those kind of things.
This shows us the last one in the.
I thought November 20 was the revenues.
Okay, that's fine. I'm
Yeah,
good
that's
with that. That's
Carry
better
in,
than,
is that-
that's better than last year. Cause last year we did it in December. I think.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking Carrie Ann who has to prepare the revenues. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, they're already prepared.
Oh, great.
Tonight.
Well, the issue,
Well, maybe,
and
Brian.
the issue is.
If we move along quick enough.
Yeah, basically, this is one of those, is as we go through expenses and then we're looking at
Yeah.
how we're gonna do the revenues, there's a few things that are still in flux, so. Just like there's some expenses still in flux as i.e. Health insurance. You know,
What do you-
So
property liability.
theoretically, well, maybe we should move that up to the 6th. If you're ready to go.
What's
I mean,
on
the 6th is a
besides-
very light meeting, library, trustee funds, budget committee, and then nothing.
Open,
Yeah, I can do
open's a
it.
good place.
We could do revenues.
We can do revenues there? All right,
We're
good. So
gonna be
let's,
done by mid-December.
yeah, so let's do it on November 6th. We're gonna move the revenues up to November.
That's what Sal and I were hoping. Right, mid-December.
So that's good. Okay, great. All right. All right. Okay, what do we want to do next? I think we want to do,
Ryan's not here. He said to start without, to do somebody else's
He's
department.
finishing something up.
here.
he's busy. Well, since Ann is here and Ian is scheduled to do elections, why don't we do elections?
And clerk.
Town clerk, too.
And town clerk, woo, it's gonna be great. Let's get them both done.
Go ahead and use this, I raised it.
What is it?
Budget.
Did
We all have one.
I know.
All right, so what page do we have town clerk on?
2.
Page 2. Go. You ready to do town clerk there, Ann? All right, come on. Go to it.
I tried to confirm a couple of figures here for you, so.
Which line are we working again, please?
Pardon me?
Which line are we working? Your line?
So we've been going up these numbers right here and to tell us what line we're at.
What
So,
page?
Like the 130, 140, 210.
Oh,
All right.
beautiful. So everything looks pretty good. I did want to make an adjustment to 390. The contracted services for like deed and lien search. We used to use somebody else who I thought had dropped off the face of the earth. I couldn't contact her by phone or email. So we had enlisted, one of our companies that does a lot for the town clerks in New Hampshire. And they did a wonderful job. They do all the deed searches, they do all the letters, all the certifieds, all the postage, and the whole thing. And so we used them for the deeding part, and I'd like to include them for everything else. The thing is, the cost is a little bit different. Okay, because instead of us paying off the postage and for the envelopes and all the certifieds, they're gonna be doing that along with the search. So currently I see the number at 2,000. We're gonna really need to double that to 4.
Are there other lines that are gonna decrease, but we're not paying
So,
something they're paying?
I don't know as it comes out of my thing, like, but I'm using, 200 some odd envelopes and I'm using the paper and I'm doing all the certifieds and all the postage. Gary, what's the best way to explain the postage?
Well, postage is a small number, it's only,
I know,
Office supplies, big thing.
yeah,
is that what we wanna put it?
It's really not a small number anymore, we only got 150 on line 625.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's a small number.
It's a small number, but I don't believe that's a real number. I'm sure she spends a lot more than.
No, just sending
Yeah,
out
the-
2,500 plus tax bills of 74 cents.
But how many certified they sent out?
We sent out, gosh, I don't have that exact number, it was over 200, 220 of
That's 5 bucks
certified
a
for
piece.
lien notices, and then I sent out another, 20 or 30 for deed notices.
And are those last two things you talked about included in the new service? Is that what you're saying? The deed?
So that would kind of encompass, correct, that would encompass that,
Just that what you've rolled off is more than $150.
correct.
But the 150 is low.
But all of our postage is being charged to the 4199 10-625 account.
Thank
And we have 12,000 in there. Because nobody in town hall breaks out what department the postage is charged to.
So we have one postage line item.
Yeah, but so should 625 be a zero?
Yes.
Explain to me why that should be a zero when we were just talking
They
about.
they've all lumped all the postage in another line, a big number of another line.
Okay,
And
so
if you
yeah,
use the mortgage search, that will take care of some of the other postage.
Who represents the other line?
It's,
You?
yeah, it's the general office line.
Right.
which is where,
It's
or what's the number on it, Terry, and I guess as much as.
014199.
How
So
about
that would be page 8. 014199 10-625.
There's nothing moving up from the bottom on page 8. Federal government postage.
And that's 12,000.
So that number probably goes down by $200-300, if the outside service is gonna do that. And 150 goes away because that's putting it in that line.
But if we, I think on the grand scheme of things, if we're talking eliminating $200 or $300 off the 12,000 line, then it's safer just to leave it at the 12,000. If it was 1,000 or so, then maybe we think about moving it somewhere else, but for $200 or $300, I think it's a safety cushion.
Mhm.
Right?
Well, she wants to add 2,000, so 2,000 ought to come out of something. She wants to increase her 2,000.
Yeah, that was, yeah. We're focused on, see if we could get out of postage, right?
The only thing I'm gonna say is it's not like a request up, it's actually now the contracted services costs that. And it's just an increase because of using a separate company.
She also said they were
Well-
gonna pay the postage.
Yeah, just for those couple, like
And if we're paying somebody $2,000 more. That means we got less work to do in-house, that's 2,000 less.
We've never done it in-house. It was done by a different contractor for less money.
So part of it was done in-house,
Yeah.
so like the mortgage search was done by this one person. When it came back, then the town clerk would sit and do all the certified letters, do all the postage. And so on, so we'll lose all that part for both mortgage, for deeding and leaning. Which saves man hours, just kind of streamlines everything, so it's all searched, paid, mailed, all done at one time.
So the only thing it affects is postage because that's the only thing that we're saving.
Right, because her salary, your salary remains the same, so it's
Right.
not about a decrease of the amount of hours. You're still there, you're just able to do other things at the time.
Absolutely. And like I
I
said, we
see your
always.
point, though, John.
There's
That's
only,
right.
there's only one mailing. Cause somebody else said something about $5 a piece
So there's a lot of mail.
from
Well-
your department that they're gonna take, or just, they're only gonna take that one?
So we're talking leaning notices and deeding notices. So you're talking, every year's gonna fluctuate a little bit, but 240 lien notices all going by certifieds. So, and then you've got searches on mortgages on top of that. So you've got all these pieces that come out of 4 or 5 different places that will all come out of one. And will take care of it all.
So the certified, 200 something certified, how much is that worth?
At
$5 a piece, which is
$1,000,
$1,000.
it's unfortunately way more than that.
Well, and that's the rest of it's not 150, it's like 1,500 or something,
It's, yeah.
which is closer to
I
2,000.
mean, exactly, well, so it's at least $10-12 per certified. Okay, so times this year.
So I think there is a number we can relieve.
$2,000 or 2,500. Yeah. somewhere in there.
2,500 should be the target probably.
Sorry.
But-
Because I heard it ping pong, but I didn't understand.
Right, so what I'm gathering is you're saying that there is somewhere, let's just say 200 certified pieces at say $10 a piece. That is being now taken by this other company.
Right.
They're charging us an additional $2,000 on top of what we were, right? Is that,
But don't forget, that money includes all that postage.
that's what I mean,
Right,
exactly,
and
so,
the mail, the letter and the paper and the envelopes and on, correct.
yeah, so they're basically just tacking on the extra of what it's gonna cost them to do the mailing. But because of. Yeah. so
But
it's
Chet,
kind
they're
of-
really not charging us more, it appears, from a financial standpoint. If we were paying $2,000 before. And we're paying 4,000 now, but 2,000 is postage and
It's a
other
wash.
stuff, it's a wash.
Yeah,
Exactly,
difficult to find someone to do this service, like
Mhm.
we were with
Part-time,
someone for a while, so the person that used to do it.
But shouldn't our postage line go down by $2,000, so they don't do less postage?
just such a shit.
well, if it does, the postage line goes down and the other line goes up.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
great.
move the $2,000 from postage
Net zero.
to that, because I think we're all kind of figuring it sounds like a wash, but the
Yeah.
money's still gotta be there
Yeah,
somewhere,
but
right?
Yeah.
So take it from the 12,000, put it on the $2,000,
that's fine with me.
right?
Yeah.
So one turns to 10, one turns to 4.
That's fine, that's what.
Does that make sense to you, Ann, as the department head?
Those one, right.
Well, I think now we need to talk about the 4199,625 line.
Yeah.
Right, that's the line that we now need to have focus on, right?
Mhm.
So, last year we had a budget of 10,000 and now it's gone up to 12,000.
I think we put it back to 10.
Yeah, we just did.
That's that new math.
I think we're in the process of trying to do that,
Yeah.
but let's make sure that, these guys,
Good.
I want to hear what these folks have to say about that
Yeah, absolutely.
thought process, yeah.
Think so too, Sal. Debbie,
I
you
mean, I'm fine with it. The issue was. We saw some increases in postage and we looked at all the mailings,
Hmm.
forgetting the offset. Cause I didn't understand that they were paying the postage. I thought we were still paying.
Okay, well, that's good. So then that's why
So
we're
we can
gonna,
just go to 10, you're done with that.
so that's gonna be the recommendation for all three, the department, the TA and the Board of Select is gonna be to change that number to 10.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Now we're all happy?
We'll have.
And now do we go back to line 390 and discuss putting that other 2 back onto that and increasing that to 4?
For all of them, Correct.
All the way across the board, right?
Right? Yes. Thank you, Jan.
No? Thank you.
Um,
All right.
So there's one item missing that, kind of come up more recently. We had added to the budget last year, to pay the supervisors of the checklist for election, and I don't know where that comes out of though. That's what I was wondering here again. I was gonna catch.
Comes out of the elected official salary, everything's all lumped in there. Either that one or the part-time line. I'd have to check the personnel budget.
Because I was missing that one.
We were paying them an hourly rate for the meetings only.
So we've been doing some talking. We are losing supervisors of the checklist. Okay. And what I'm finding is that, and then Chet and I had discussed this, it's like nobody wants to volunteer anymore. Everybody wants to get paid for their time. I called Enfield just out of curiosity to find out what they did for their supervisors, the checklist. The number of hours have increased so much in the 20+ years that I've been, in the town clerk, tax collector, position and deputy. And there's just so much more work involved. I mean, it's not just showing up for an election and working an election. There's a lot behind the scenes. Perfect example, the presidential election required some of them almost 3 weeks of post, election work, whether it was adding in 200 question voters or making sure that everybody that voted had been counted as voted and all the other work that they have to do. They have to meet so many times a year. They always have to meet 10 days before an election. And on and on. So the number of elections vary per year. I mean, this year we had the town election. Okay, next year we have a town election, state primary, and then the state election. The year after that, we're going to 1, the year after that was 4 again. So the elections do change. So we were just discussing what could we do. So Enfield does the same thing. So it would just be a flat rate, but they would get paid every year. And 1 year they might be only doing 1 election. They might be doing 3 another time, but it would balance out over time. So, you have 3 supervisors, they're 6-year positions. We were discussing, a $3,450 total per year. So they would get about $1,150 per person for the year to cover all elections and all other work that the supervisors were required to do.
Say that number again, Ann. 3.
So for the 3 of them together, $3,450.
And where is this? This is a new item you want to add?
Well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
I don't.
This would be a new item?
Anything
Yeah,
else for them.
okay.
But it's just, like I said, we had put it in the budget last year to pay them for the elections, and as I'm losing some and I've been talking around, it seems like everybody's paying a little something to just try to, not just entice people, but there's training to go along with that. And then the work throughout the year.
And these are elected positions, right?
These are elected positions, that is correct.
So, and the reason I ask that is you would hope that would keep somebody in the game for the full 6 years, right? We're not gonna lose them in year 2 after they.
That's my hope, looking at what we pay the moderator, for example, he's at 600 and change. I don't have the exact number in front of me. And so he and I test the machines before an election, and he's there election day. Whereas I look at what the supervisors do, and again, there's a lot of behind the scenes that come in the office. So there's a lot of other work that has to happen. So just wanted to present that tonight.
So what would the rationale be for one flat fee where 1 year there's 1 election and 1 year there's 4? Why wouldn't you make it a fee per election? Whatever the number is, $500 per election. This year you made $500, next year you make $2,000, that kind of thing.
Oh, well, that's a discussion that Chet and I had too. I mean. More elections means more work. So you're saying if it's 500 per election, so every year we have 4 elections, so that means the number is gonna go like this every year. We were
True.
just thinking if we just did a steady amount and then they would know they'd get the same amount. In some years they would do with less work,
So
so they do more.
your other election items, those move up and down. When you have a lot of elections, you've got other numbers in your budget to go up.
True. I mean, I'm trying to think. With the meals. I'm hoping we budgeted enough. Everything keeps costing more money.
Print the ballots too. like-
It's the same.
Yeah, I mean,
You're just right.
The thing we talked about was, it's like a 4-year cycle. Like we just planned elections. It was, there's a 4, a 3, and 2 1s. And it's like, if you did that over like a 4-year cycle and averaged it,
Right, yeah.
it was just that kind of a mindset where at least the budget isn't fluctuating every year. We don't miss it. It was just looking at it as a 4-year plan.
And you're paying the moderator that flat rate stipend because there's only one event.
That just is the stipend. I looked in the last year's town report,
Yeah,
and that's
the,
what it was.
the stipend is actually $1,000. And last year we had bumped up all of the elected officials that were below that to the minimum 1,000.
Right.
That was for the deliberative
The
session.
supervisors, we were giving them an hourly rate, but they stopped submitting hours.
Okay.
So I can only pay what's submitted.
Yeah, because we had the special meeting in July this year, there's all the things that they do that are in addition to, so. That, my thought is trying to have a consistent level budget. Versus. That was the only rationale. It doesn't matter either way.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, from the individual standpoint, the person who's actually doing the job, does this get explained to them that there's work to go on and some years you're gonna have only 1 election, other years you may have 2 or 3 elections?
I mean, I think people in the past, it's one of those things, oh, thank you. People in the past have just done it. I guess.
Yeah.
Just part of the volunteerism, But I will say, excuse me,
Yeah, it's not that world anymore.
Yeah, well,
the more and more work.
Yeah.
And, we've attended trainings, they have met on Seminary Hill, the old elementary school, middle school, whatever, Lebanon. So there was other stuff outside of here too, to do. They spend quite a bit of time on the computer with software and just more involved. I don't know how else to explain.
I'm more interested in their mindset. Are they happier to get $1,000 a year or $1,000, 1,500 one year and 500 another year? I mean,
Without having spoken to them,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know. We have one that's moved, so I'm not gonna ask her.
Yeah.
I did speak to one of them and she made it sound like if she wasn't gonna get paid for more of her work, she wasn't gonna stay.
Mhm.
And I'm
I
like,
mean, they ran for election, they knew it wasn't a paid position, right?
I know it, Dan, I'm not disagreeing, I
Right.
know, I hear you, and that's why I started calling, just to say,
Sure.
okay, what are other towns doing? And Enfield being the same size, I said, what did they do? So she had told me the stipend, and that's.
Yeah,
why.
go ahead.
And this stipend would be an increase over what?
0.
0.
Missouri.
Correct.
No, because they were doing hourly.
They would get
They would pay the hourly, right, so this
Yeah.
would be an increase.
People need to submit hours in order to get paid. So we were also paying the ballot clerks $11 an hour and the supervisors this year got $13 an hour.
How much did we pay altogether?
I don't know. I would have to log into the payroll system and see.
But your sense is that this would be an increase, so it would be an incentive if someone needed an incentive?
Yeah, it would definitely be an increase because
Okay,
what it was 12-hour days times 13.
okay,
That's 156 for that,
okay.
times 3.
Yeah, Dan?
So. Revisiting basically what I'm getting at is. My concern would be if we pay a lump sum. More than just one election. And when would that sum be paid? Right? So that's not my issue, but let's just say they receive their payment. And then they decide that they're moving to Arizona for retirement, right? Now we have to replace them, but now they've got. If that's only a 1 election year, but they just got the same amount as they would get in a year that has 3 elections. Well, now we're losing out on that because I guarantee you, they're not giving that money back. When I was on the board, I saw that happen with 2 or 3 different recruits for the police academy, right? And you can have them sign all the contracts you want, but as far as I found, that's not even a legal thing. So it sounded good from the previous administration, but it didn't really do what it was intended to do. So personally, I would be more inclined to pay per election. If there's 1 election, you get this amount. If there's 3 elections, you get this amount, and it gets paid at the time of the election, if that's at all possible. Because that's gonna save us from trying to recoup money that somebody leaves with, whether it's a good intention, bad intention, whatever, life turns around on you, right? But I've watched that 2 or 3 times with different positions.
May I want to ask Carrie a quick
Yeah,
clarification?
please, yeah. you're right.
Something like a stipend. How do you pay that? Is it monthly, quarterly?
It's different by position, the moderator, the historian, and one other one we pay in December, once a year. And then the elected officials that we see monthly, like the treasurer is always in, the select board, they're paid monthly.
So if we knew that there were gonna be one election in that year. Couldn't we just pay that stipend? I mean, the money's in the budget, it's sitting there. This isn't gonna be like it used to be where the money's actually not there. You guys have a handle on it, and when you say it's there, it's actually in the account. So we don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. So is it legally able on a stipend scenario, or is there another word other than stipend to make it so we actually pay them at their time of service?
Sadie?
Well, I think kind of going down a slippery slope, and Dale Barney as the moderator. Has $600 a year for 20 years, when he has to test the machines, he has to be there all hours that voting's open. He has to be at deliberative session. I wouldn't be in favor of paying of the checklist supervisor more than him.
No.
I think-
Me either.
He's 1,000 now, she said, because everybody wants
That's the-
Yeah,
1,000.
I think, last year we had 4 elections, and he's there from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. And then we had a couple of special meetings and,
And the supervisors are there at all of those.
yeah.
To include, don't forget the supervisors are at the deliberative. That
Yes.
should all fell.
But are they there all day when we vote, or do they switch out?
Nope, they're there all day.
The same
Come in at
people?
7:30 in the morning and they're there till 8:30 at night. And
But
so, but I hear what you're saying too, so.
But now it would be even, is that not correct? They're all gonna get that minimum?
That's what you're working on deciding.
Right.
and then it's.
There's a law,
like,
right?
Is it
Go
budget
ahead.
committee members wanna be paid and planning board members?
No, I
wanna be
totally
paid.
get you. I totally get you. And that's
Wait, we don't get paid?
No, sorry.
Bob, I'll give you a ride.
So with the stipends, are they not paid after the work is completed?
Well, if we went to a monthly stipend. Then, then it could be stopped at any time, because if they move, they wouldn't get any more. So if they were paid $1,000 and they only were there for 2 months, they'd only get. Whatever 1,000 divided by 12 is.
Yeah, 80
So you've
bucks a
got,
month or
so you've got
something, right?
that you
Whatever
could
it
think
is.
about, but I do hear you when you talk about the deliberative session there too, we shouldn't probably pay. To be careful, but they brought that up too, one of the sorts supervisors brought that up, he gets paid blah, 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 and we don't, and we do. Like I said, they're there at the office other times also, doing other work, so
We
how do
get
we
paid-
balance this?
If we get paid that at the end of the year. It is what it is. If they leave before the election, they don't get paid. Makes sense. If they stay through the election, they get paid. I don't have a problem with $1,000, no matter how many elections you're doing. If you said. This isn't pro football, so if you signed your contract and said, I'll work for $1,000 a year, then you don't come back halfway through and go, I'm playing better, so I think I need more money. So. I got 3 elections, so I think I need more money. But if they're not getting anything and we give them 1,000 and we pay at the end of the year, I don't see how that would be bad. Besides, how do we pay for it other than that? It seems reasonable. I wouldn't do the 1150 thing.
I just use that number because it was this, it
Yeah,
was like.
that would be
it
more
always
than
different,
Dale.
And
and that would
divided
be
nice, divided nicely by 3.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
always like rounded to
And-
1150, but.
And I think that eliminates the thought of them skirting out before, right? Because that would give us time to put a new person in place.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just when you say end of year, like that's what we pay Dale right now, we pay him in December. If you're concerned about them being here for the election, it's almost like it should be April 1st for stipends. Because it's right after the
Correct,
big election.
yes.
Yeah, but you said, what, how many,
That election.
yeah, what about the year when you have 4 elections? When's that
Like
end?
next year, we have 3 elections.
Right.
So that's why paying, the end of November, beginning of December.
And I'm okay with that. I
So-
was just asking the question,
That's
what
a
is a
question.
year? Like if,
Well, and
if they
the thing
leave
about-
at the end of December, we still have a problem for that March.
Yeah, but you don't want the taxes to fluctuate every year. You don't want the time to pay it to fluctuate every year. Just put
That's
it 1,000, but at the end of the year, and let's go to the next line item.
And
I
I'm-
we don't
think
have
that's
a-
reasonable.
And that's fine. I just wanted to make sure we were clear
I
on the
hear
year
you.
event.
I hear you.
So they'll each get 1,000
I'm
apiece,
picking up.
so that's 3,000. Okay, and that'll get paid once a year.
At
And we
the end
did
of
nothing to the fiscal, right?
End of calendar, well, fiscal and calendar year. We don't have a fiscal year because it's.
Well, we have to determine the money that goes in the budget, the selectmen decide when they're gonna pay it
Right,
and how they could pay it.
so it's just, you want to approve for his grant.
Carry in. Hang on, Carrie Ann?
So are we doing anything with ballot clerks, because we paid the ballot clerks $11 an hour this year?
Just the same as the other.
So it's just-
Yeah,
But that's a one-time gig, right?
Right, that's for the hours they put in at the election.
That's a one-day thing.
so were they staying hourly?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
that
I
makes
don't see
sense.
why not, because they're only working, 4 or 5 hours
Really?
at election.
A year. Or times in.
Nice house, right, however.
That's reflected.
So that amount would fluctuate because of the number of them.
All right, so
But
what,
that's fine, as long
That's
as.
not significant
As
to
long as
the
you
bottom line.
vote to find-
So
That's
that's for the proposed number.
all right, so I hear we got $1,000 to be paid at the end of the year, so all three of them.
Motion?
I'm just,
I'll make that motion.
I'm saying that I think that's where we are.
That's where we just.
That's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
So then somebody make a motion. Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
And
Second,
final point is,
now let's have any kind of discussion. Go ahead.
is that $1,000 total or per?
Total,
Per
Per person, per person.
per person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're putting them on a par with all the other folks that do this kind of thing.
Dollars.
Right, but as she had said, 1,000 times 3, so that's 3,000 total. That wasn't the discussion I thought about.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't
all right,
clarify it.
fine.
Yeah.
All right, so we have the first, second. Do we have any discussion? Mike?
That's a stipend. You're not paying health insurance or
Right.
FICA or any of that. No, It's a
Thank you.
flat fee,
Right,
till you're a
exactly.
1099 person, get the hell out. Here's your money. Okay, thank
Well, typically, we don't want to say it that way.
you.
It doesn't.
If you really wanna say it, here's your money, thank you very much.
That's why you have your, and I don't.
Any other discussion on this?
So where is that going in here?
It's a new item
It
that,
would be the
Elected official.
40-10-130.
130.
Elected official salary.
It's elected official salary.
Sorry, what line are you, what page are you on?
130.
Page two.
Page two,
Page three.
fourth line, yeah, fourth line down, so 130 to that. Right now is at 89.70, and it would increase another $3,000.
I still not seeing it.
Me either.
that's not the number.
Page three, line
Oh,
130.
yeah, I read
Read.
page 2.
Alright,
This page two.
It's 014140 and 130.
Under tax collector salary.
Under tax collector salary. Yes. And we want to add $3,000 to that,
Oh,
but then
Well, I
that's
got
gonna
the-
take,
Why wouldn't it be
Official
new? No.
salary.
Yeah, what about elected officials?
Wouldn't it be allowed?
Elected officials are paid under an account ending in 130 is how the payroll system works.
And because in
Okay.
this particular place, the clerk is an elected official, so it's added to that.
So
It's just the
listen,
way the software systems.
sorry, Jay, sorry.
That's okay.
There's 4140 and there's 4150. So we're looking at 4150, 10, 130, it's page three, right?
Wrong number.
We're
Yep.
looking at 4140.
Yep.
tax collector.
Under
So
elected,
why is that going to that
Page two.
instead of elected official?
Well, it's not, that's financial.
It is elected official, but it comes under
Financial
the clerk.
administration. Understood.
So she's the.
Can I suggest that we change that word to salaries? So it doesn't sound like it's all one person's salary in the future.
I would,
And now that's gonna calculate, any of these other items that fall down there.
Yeah, it would recalculate the employer taxes.
Right,
I have,
so it's not a
Minimum.
stipend, it's actually a W-2 pay versus a 1099 we're talking about.
I can pay 1099 if it's less than 500. So anything over that is gonna be an employee in the payroll system.
so they'll have to come in and fill out the form,
Yep.
whoever they are.
And it's the same people that don't put in their hours, don't fill out the form. The taxes go in.
Go ahead, Dan.
is there any reason why we wouldn't make another line for that so we can keep it clarified? I don't like it hidden in something else.
Yeah.
It's how the software is set up to work and it's typical like industry standard
Yeah,
to have all full-time salaries go to one line, all part-time salaries.
So it's not actually gonna cost us 1,000, it's gonna cost us 1,000 plus FICA,
And stipend doesn't
right?
fit
then,
this software, right?
right, so.
So we all understand, right? It's not a. It's a
So
W
if
two
we-
page.
So Sal, if
Yes.
we did that
But my
differently
point is,
and we paid 500 per election,
Right.
does that keep us away from that FICA requirement?
I don't think so because it's if it's in the same calendar year, if it's over 500.
Right, in the same calendar year, you know.
and the, just, you know, cause she does have money budgeted for the supervisors.
Right.
So when you subtract that, it ends up being about $2,000 increase.
Okay, so
So yeah,
there's already
about
money in
2,000.
that line item
Right.
to pay the supervisors their hourly rate.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying, there's money in that 130 line item that I can't see.
That's correct.
Right. I mean,
So if
How
you
is
want, if you would like,
everybody-
I'm sure Carrie Ann,
If we're talking about being transparent, so the voters in the town of Canaan, myself included, can understand our budget process a
Mhm.
little bit better, the last thing we should be doing is stacking multiple things in one line.
it's
Right.
not stacking multiple things. It's just the way all software is
And-
working, cause they're all
I
calculated.
understand, I'm not
differently.
blaming you guys, I'm just speaking my mind.
Why would we have one line for
That's
every
right,
single
yeah.
employee?
can I make a quick suggestion? You have a breakdown of of what makes up this currently the $65,387.38.
It's called the personnel budget.
And you can
Yeah. it's-
provide that to us.
Here's-
You can do that, right? You could give us that? Yeah? Is that? Will that solve your particular issue?
I mean, I think so, as long as there's something that we.
No, I
can refer
understand.
to that
I-
shows
I'm with
who
you.
is getting what,
Yeah.
right? And.
So I
and
think, Carrie
again,
Ann,
I
if
don't
you
want
could-
You guys to think I'm trying to give you a hard time specifically, I'm just.
Understood?
that's My job.
Sure.
Well, you might be able to put like a little notation under, you know how you say like highway, maybe put something in there, saying tax clerk and super and checklist people. Yeah.
Oh, so we can. put
You know
that
how,
on tape.
like some of the lines you described,
You want to
you
put an
know, in
annotation,
black.
this includes stipend
And that's
for.
This right here, right?
Well, there's a long list.
That's what
I'm
I
sure there's
I agree.
Where would
Where
we
should start?
Hey, so I think,
See index at rear.
yeah. Sorry. So, to break that down for all of the items that fall into that kind of category, we'd have a long list of items. So we don't want that, do we? Or do we?
I don't mind it. I will tell you, the discussion we were just having here on the side was the fact that people think that that's Ann's salary. And when
Sure.
I looked at that, I thought that was Ann's salary.
But I think that's why Bob recommended that we say tax collectors' salaries in plural to begin with. Right?
And Carrie Ann can put a little note underneath it like she's done elsewhere in there, that's in bold, that's what it includes, right?
How many items does it include roughly?
It's the three, the elected town clerk, tax collector, the supervisors, the checklist, and the ballot clerks were coded to that line this year.
Okay, so you could theoretically put a note in underneath there that says, here's the ones that it covers.
So the other question would.
Is that,
Should that then say
That's all
elected
we're-
officials instead of
Right.
tax
Just this
collector?
in there,
sure,
right?
yeah, it won't break down the individual numbers,
But.
but you could get that if you want, right? I
And
mean,
we also, she can give you the breakdowns, that's no problem.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, the title of that could be changed to elected officials.
Correct.
Right, exactly, either elected officials or it's only 4 people, right?
Right.
So something like
No,
that.
there's more than
and I'll
4.
Certainly,
there's 4,
Right.
there's more than 4. How many you got in there?
There was 6 ballot clerks.
There's usually
Three
three in the morning, 3 in the afternoon,
Right, so you got 6 and 3 is
9,
9, and was there another one, or was that it? It's just those 9 people?
Moderator,
and
Town moderator, yeah.
10,
10,
and me.
11.
and the assistant,
So elected officials, and then she can give you guys a breakdown.
He's on the.
Yeah, I mean,
But elected officials, comma, and put the number, I mean, parentheses perhaps.
but the assistant is not under there, so where's she?
She's above it.
110.
So why has she got her own line? Is she a part timer or what?
She's an appointed employee.
Not elected.
Not
Not
elected.
elected.
so I think it would make all the
The
difference, I
ballot
mean,
clerk-
it just showed elected officials.
all right, so we're gonna have that category now, names changed to elected officials.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a little note that says, 10 people or whatever,
Yeah,
or
but the ballot
you could
clerks.
do-
are not-
Sorry?
Ballot clerks are not elected, right?
True.
they're not.
So they should go in with the deputy. It's election officials.
Why don't we just change it to salaries, like we originally.
They're talking about people that they
Like,
voted for, they were elected.
PD salaries, full-time, that probably includes Lisa, right?
That's
So it's
Yeah.
not-
Six ballot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's that way in other parts of the budget, it's just lumped together.
What do you call
Wait
it?
till we get there.
What do you call this stuff?
We're setting a precedent, aren't we?
We're getting bogged down in the minutia.
Yeah, and this is the standard government software that we're using. We're not, this isn't a private.
So listen, I concede my stuff if that's what we're all still talking about. If you guys are talking about it amongst yourself, fine, but at this point, I agree, we're getting bogged down with minutia. I was just trying to make it so if somebody looks at this, like, I will tell you, I know people that sit here and they study this. And I'm sure that they think the same thing I did. I
Right.
think that that's your salary. So if that's fine, I'm good.
So how are we changing the title? Do we have a consensus on? Sorry, good. Let's see.
About,
All right, so now you,
Share with
you
the
guys
group.
know your system and you know what we've
Yeah.
been discussing here. What's your recommendation on this, Carrie Ann or Chet? I don't care which.
I was just gonna say that we were just talking about the ballot clerks not being elected, they actually should be in the 120 line. Which is the assistant town clerk, that's just a part-time position, the 120s are always part-time, so they would be moved up. And all elected officials would be in the elected line.
Good.
And then I think we can comment the next time, but I think that will be.
And we'll have a note. And Dan, did you want the breakdown on those or?
No,
Probably
no, I wasn't asking. I'm just saying.
It's okay. It's not a
To
problem.
have it available and
Yeah.
people need to understand. So no, I'm good.
But we will, the way we're changing it seems to make sense. Yes, to everybody?
I think so, yeah. It makes more sense than this.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So, Mike,
Yeah, that was great.
More better.
more better?
to election officials.
Right, so but the only motion that's technical stuff that they'll deal with, but the motion on the table is to pay $3,000 each to the supervisors, paid in December. Is that,
I
No,
believe so.
we don't say when they're paid. It's the select board.
thank you, John. Our recommendation would be then that it gets paid in December. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right, okay?
Yep.
Any other discussion? Can we have a vote on that?
I'd just like to clarify.
Sure.
I would keep saying the 3,000 to the.
Yeah, supervisors, yeah.
Supervisors, because if one does quit, then the other two get 1,500 each, I would just say $1,000 a piece. I wouldn't bring up 3,000 anywhere.
That would probably be listed out there. Under what their
But we just do the budget.
definition.
We just do the budget.
I know, I'm just saying my motion.
3,000 in the budget, and it's up to they're gonna take the money and use it somewhere else. They feel like, I mean, they got the authority to do that.
Thank you, Donna.
All right,
I'm just saying that my motion didn't include 3,000 total.
What power you have.
$1,000.
You wanna know what I wrote down?
sure, yes, thank you, Roger.
We're paying $1,000 stipend per person for supervisors of the checklist.
That's the motion,
Hot diggity.
Per year, maybe, or per year.
Per year.
per year.
It's a little more specific.
Yes, that would be great. So that's the motion.
Second,
All right, then we can get a vote on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstains? Thank you very much. Next.
That's one,
Roger, I think. Second.
one in a row.
Hey, good work. Hey,
Point of it.
look, we're getting to know each other here, so let's, that's okay. It's all right.
Thank you.
Don't get wound up, we'll be all right. All right,
You have more still?
do you have more?
I think we've covered ones that I was concerned about, everything else is.
All right.
well set.
So, is there anybody who has any issues with any of the items that are being recommended at the current time? And the two changes that I have in the 4140 line excuse me. The 10,390 is going to 4,000 across the board. The 10,625 is going to 0 across the board.
What one?
Postage.
What?
4140, 10,625 postage.
Gotcha.
Going.
Zero.
And then the other line was where, 8, right?
Right above it, 10,390 to 4,000. That's in this grouping.
Right above the bold deed and line search.
Yes.
Name search.
So we all right, and so that's that. So that will be our recommendation as well. Those items for the the budget
Indeed.
committee, correct?
Indeed.
Thank you very much. That's good. Ian,
Everybody.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your
Ian.
time. We really appreciate
Thank you.
it. She's on salary, don't worry.
Well, that was the other thing, is to get paid for the meeting. How many meetings you wanna have? Depends on how much you wanna get paid.
All right, now there's another category here. We have meetings. Dale Barney. Dale's not here.
Do you wanna officially approve, because you approved at the last meeting, the general government line, and you just reduced. You were reducing the postage by 2,000.
Right. Oh, we approved that one already?
You would approve that at the last.
The
meeting, so
last
I just
meeting.
want- I think you wanna edit that now in your approval.
You're correct. That's on page 8. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. The other thing that we want to note is that line 419910-625 postage. The department TA and Board of Selectmen are now at $10,000. And the our number is gonna now also be $10,000.
We're just the last line, right?
Page 8.
Yeah, I got that, but that, this is only SBC.
Yeah, we've already approved that, is what Chet was pointing out to us at the last meeting, so it's gotta change as,
And-
it could change as well. Thank you, Chet.
Yeah, because if you notice, all the lines that you guys approved have your numbers in.
Yes.
all this time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so. Chief, you wanna get in so you can get out?
Oh, I'll go whenever.
I left a chair for you, Ryan.
Want me to go over there?
Thank you.
Or
Have a good
just
time.
Jump on the end?
Yeah, come on down.
Please, yeah.
You were first.
Right.
Yeah, I know, I apologize.
No, don't
Been a
you
busy day.
apologize.
Keeping the world safe.
We
man.
just wanna, get you in and get you out as quick as we can. Nothing personal, just,
Sure, I think that.
you got kids,
It's 42.
Hello, everybody.
Right.
Nice to see everybody again.
All right, so let's see.
42.
We are on 4210, page 9.
Page 9.
Okay. All right there, Ryan, take it away.
Okay. Please excuse my appearance today, where our training ran long and didn't get a chance to home and change. If we want to just start with the PD salaries, so we have 6 full-time officers. I'm happy to announce that we are back to fully staffed. We have one more officer that is due to go to the academy in January. Once he gets out in May, we will be fully staffed.
Nice.
We did just lose an officer to a neighboring town. I don't, we lost the officer, so unfortunately we had to kind of scramble, but we were lucky enough to find a full-time certified officer that wanted to join us, and he started his first day today. So we have one officer that's not certified, and then, 2 officers that are pretty new. They're all great people, but it's just gonna take a little time to get them up and running. So at any rate, that line item right now is at $569,627.
Which line are we talking about?
For the full-time PD salaries at the top.
42,
number you can get.
42, 10,
110.
10, 110.
Say again now?
The TA number.
That's the town administrator number.
That's that number because when we initially prepared the budget, there was an additional officer that I'll talk about later. And then it was moved to a warrant article temporarily to see what the budget committee wanted to do. We wanted to make sure we were comparing apples to apples.
All right, so would that then change the department and the Board of Selectmen's numbers?
These are proposed changes, because moving it out into a warrant article allows us to budget for the exact number of months. So we'll have to wait for the budget to pass, and then we won't hire anyone until probably May. So we only calculated 7 months instead of a full 12 months.
Right, but what I'm saying is that does that change the other numbers, the department number and the Board of Select numbers?
Yeah, it'll also change the employer taxes.
No, I understand, but what we're saying, I'm asking Carrie Ann is, it's 569 now. Is that gonna be the number under the 2026 department number and the 2026 Board of Select number?
No, we were just keeping the adjustments in the town administrator column. Because the department heads, like,
Okay,
that was a time frame that came and went. That was what everybody requested.
Yeah, everybody understands what she's saying here? We got that? Okay,
But aren't you the department head?
yes,
And so isn't that your number for 2026 department?
For the 6 full-time officers?
So that's
For whatever it is, but what he's saying, your number is 634, 85, 76.
No, I have 569, 627 in mine.
And we
Under
had met,
department,
we had met yesterday and gone over moving it into a warrant article.
what are we moving into a warrant? Sorry.
that's the difference. Yeah,
Adding a full timer,
Full-time officer I'm gonna ask for.
yes.
In the bulletin list that we got
Yeah.
today, it's at the bottom, it talks about how to look at. You have that.
So that's one more up with the one that you have. No,
It would be, yes.
okay. Is there a risk of making that a warrant article that the voters will reject it? In past years, there've been times when the police hasn't been the most popular schools in town.
Certainly a risk.
Is it better off to put it in the budget, but then you got it? You put it as a warrant article, or you want, run the risk of it not being approved?
I mean,
What-
basically, the issue was, we were, you know, one of the things we were talking about was making sure we can compare apples to apples, you know, this was this current year. And that the public sees that. And last year, we had the same thing happen with, the assistant, town clerk. Where the budget committee took it from the warrant article and moved it into the budget to make sure that it happened. Currently, if with the current, revenue cycle, we're about a 9% increase. And that's basically what we predicted last year because we have the 3% that we have to make up in revenue that doesn't exist. The 2% for capital that we're gonna have to do for the next couple of years, and basically a 4-ish% increase on the overall budget. This will increase it 2 more percent. Well, 1% for this one, 2% if we do, there's 2 positions that actually have the same thing happening. We're still talking about our buildings and maintenance position that we haven't had for a few years. So. Absolutely fine, and I would prefer it to be right in the budget, you know, than in a warrant article. The question is. How will the voters view, you know, because we told you for 2 more years, this year and the next year. We're gonna probably be close to 9% just because of the shortfalls from the past.
yeah, but I'm kind of, but let's say that everybody else jump in on this, Bruce. Go ahead, Bob.
so the 2025 number of 559, 156. How many officers was that for?
6.
6? Okay,
6 plus. No, the
6.
plus is not, the 7-month
Just-
one is not
634
included
was
in
6
there,
plus.
right?
Is-
But you feel like you need the extra officer, yes?
I do, and I'd like to give that explanation. I can do it
Sure.
at the end, or I
Yeah,
can do it.
do it now. Let's settle this, because I think, I know where I'm leaning, but I want to hear the rest of this guys. Go ahead.
Okay. Town of Enfield right now, they have about 4,400 residents. We have 3,800 to 3,900 residents. The standard ratio for police officers in a rural, small town or a small area is, according to the FBI, is 2.5 officers per 1,000 residents. So that really would put us up around 8 full-time officers. We have 6 full-time officers, but one of them is our SRO. So the school pays 75% of Officer Button's salary. We get Officer Button for maybe a year, maybe a month or so. By the time he comes out of the school, he's either on breaks, he's taking his 5 weeks of vacation time, typically when he's not in the school, so that way it's not left uncovered. We get him about a month a year, maybe a month and a half. So that's, I'd like to ask for another officer because we are drowning here. Right now, currently, we have a little over 5,000 calls for service. For comparison's sake, the town of Enfield has about 4,300 calls for service. They're doing that with 7 officers. We're doing it with, we were doing it mostly with 4 of us. We just got back to fully staffed. Out of those 5,000 calls for us, we had 903 investigations. So the town of Enfield had 120 investigations. Those, homicides and sexual assaults, they take a lot of time and manpower and energy. And we are stretched as thin as we can go. we're managing it, but we are stretched and guys are getting burnt out. You know, we have 80 arrests over top of Enfield's 50 arrests. And then, you know, when you top on 35 crashes versus 57 crashes, we're getting a lot of calls that other area departments minus Lebanon is getting. You know, outside of Lebanon, we're the busiest department in the entire Upper Valley. Maybe Hartford, they probably have a speed too. But we're doing it with far less help. With the new officer, we do take calls. We do have cruisers that we take home. I would have to add a cruiser. I would have to add a body camera, a taser, and a new cruiser camera to put in the new cruiser. It would be about an 8% increase over what we are paying now for all of our tasers, body cameras, and Fleet 3 leases. So that equals about $3,000 a year. So it's
We've
over.
got that in the CIP budget though,
Yeah.
right?
It's
I mean, that's
over
in
a
the reserve.
5-year term, so
Yeah.
it increased that annual cost
Mhm.
by about $3,000 to add another officer. That's just for the equipment, that's not including their salary
Right.
and benefits and that. I am really asking for another officer just so we can try and alleviate some of the pressure that we have.
Yeah.
I get it, it's definitely gonna increase the budget. I feel like we've been very supportive here in town. Everybody that works for us now feels very supported, so that's a very good feeling that we haven't had for a long time. I think my guys are doing a wonderful job and they're working very hard and I want to keep it that way and I'd like to not lose them because they're burning out.
So anybody have any thoughts on this issue
I
about whether
have-
we're gonna put it in the
I have a
warrant? or-
question.
Sure, go ahead.
Brian, you mentioned that you lost an officer to a neighboring town. Was the burnout part of that, you think?
I'm gonna say the town of Enfield offered a very nice bonus to come back.
A poaching.
Oh, he was originally a Enfield guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're competing with the city of Lebanon, who's offering $30,000
Yeah.
bonuses. You
So,
know,
yeah.
they're talking about increasing and maybe they're $40,000 to $50,000. It's just, you know, it's a rat.
And our 5,000 calls are an annual.
I'm
that's
sorry.
The annual number is what you were talking about, 5,000 calls.
Right now, we have 5,000 calls. I would say that's 500 calls a month. So if you wanna estimate it, probably another 1,500 calls before the end of the year. We always get very busy in the winter.
And these are all calls through the dispatch service out of Lebanon? Or-
Yep. So it comes through our system and some of them go directly to us and some of them go to our dispatch center.
Chad,
Just, Ryan was touching on it, when you talk about the equipment costs and the extra cruiser. He mentioned the $3,000 related to the stuff that goes with the officer and in the cruiser. But the cruiser itself would add about $8,300 a year to the capital plan. So basically, you're looking at for all of the equipment, you're looking at about $11,000 a year. And then the staff member.
Cause how long are you saying that you're keeping each cruiser?
Right now, it's a 6-year cycle is what we have estimated for cost.
6 years you guys are keeping those.
Typically, yeah, we try to keep them going for as long as we can, but
and
right
then,
around 6-year mark is
they get,
cost.
yeah, they've been getting shuttled off to other departments after they've been used.
Oh, I know, I made that suggestion originally.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so it's not a bad thing. It's, you know.
right, but I also recall, it's somewhere in the line of, it was more than $70,000 between purchasing and outfitting the cruiser, correct?
It's a little less, yeah, it was, so 47 for a car and then 19 or 17 for the outfitting that I just paid for the most recent car.
So about 70 grand,
Pretty close,
right? Over how many years?
Figure 80 for next.
Well, if you spread it out, it'd
6,
be
you said?
5 or 6 years, we keep the cars.
So, I mean,
It's about your $11,000 a year number, so.
yeah,
But the $11,000 includes the other pieces that he was buying for the car, so that's total fit up. He was separating the two, the fit up from the car.
right.
So is it fair to like, I mean, per officer between salary, retirement, insurance, car, equipment, it's like 100, 110, 110, is there a number like?
Yeah, Carrie, you had the cost for.
Is that what's on this bubble?
Yeah, just like a real cue,
That's
I mean, just a rough,
111, 622, is it?
a broad brush.
I can't understand this one, so I don't know.
Yes, so if you look at the very bottom, the bullet points where we decreased the full-time police officer by 48,000, that's because the actual cost, when you're looking at 2026, is only gonna be for 7 months.
Right, I get it.
So then the second line is where I said
Oh.
2027, the year-round employee would cost that much. That's just the employee, that's not including
car.
the cruiser.
Right, but that's salary and benefits, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, that's all I was looking for, thank you.
Go ahead, Bob.
So add the 75 to that. If you're outfitting a person. Salary is gonna be 110 and cruiser's gonna be 75
No, it's gonna be
plus include.
11,000.
11,
11 a
divided
year.
by 6 years.
Gotta get
It's
6 years
11,000
out
a
of it.
year.
The
So
per-
the annual cost will be that plus 11,000 extra.
Okay, that's perfect.
Brian, you get that?
So does
So
the,
there's no upfront money, we're paying for.
Their leases, they're 6-year leases in and out.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's already in the capital reserve plan. You know, each year we put basically 11,000 per year into the,
I'm not an advocate for always adding
I
to
understand.
solve problems,
Gotcha.
especially when we don't have revenue. On the plus side,
Sure.
we got revenue on the negative side.
Right, or we better take it from someplace, because we don't have it.
Yeah, no, it's not magic, so it's something about like, do we need as many things as we say we would like?
Right.
Unfortunately.
The town is growing slowly, it's growing but slowly. And over time, you have to add more services to make up for that increased population.
Okay, but I'm looking at the numbers and I don't see a growth rate. There is no, I mean, the growth rate is minimal.
Yeah.
It's flat.
I mean, what was
So
the
to continue to
population of
give
the
more,
town?
more work for the police department is. You know, when we're not, are the average, I don't understand why we are so, we've got the bubble here with the numbers. Why we have the bubble is problem.
It's socioeconomic. I mean, you got a drug problem in this town that you don't have
I
probably.
don't
as
see it
much
from the
as-
time stats I'm looking at. The stuff that's reported every year doesn't reflect that.
For sexual assaults than rest of the
Far.
alcohol, but yeah.
Looking at the stats that are reported by us to the state. Doesn't reflect that there's a big problem here in comparison with others. But that's
So,
another
the stat-
topic to touch.
The stats that you see reported to the state might not reflect an arrest or a drug problem. But the drug problems lead to the crimes that we are arresting people for, which is assaults, domestic, sexual assaults. You know, those types of crimes that we do report, that you see an increase in. You are right, we don't have the time to go out there and surveil a house for 35 hours a week to try and generate a good drug case, because we just don't have the staff or the money for that. It costs a lot of money to do that. We are more reactive at this point because we can't be proactive. It's cost prohibitive to do that. And we typically will, I don't want to say farm out, but we will refer a lot of these drug investigations to Drug Task Force or the New Hampshire State Police, who has a dedicated task force to go out and do that. So it may not show that the Canaan police are doing the drug cases, but we are referring those cases and they do get investigated by other agencies. Just because we just don't have the manpower and the money to do it.
Yeah, Bob, you've been wanting to say something for a while.
yeah, so your line is 569, 627, is the 634, 085, that's to take. That not use the warrant article, but that does not include the additional officer, does it?
Yes.
That would
Yes.
include.
That would be the total number then.
That's correct.
Doesn't
Yeah, so
include
in
the
other words-
cruiser and all of that.
Yeah, no, but that comes on a separate line. This is salaries. We'll have to talk about that some.
Go ahead, Dan.
I had some discussion, and Chief Porter, I guess. My question would be, what are the differences in those numbers from when you took the position? And I asked that based on, I don't have it with me. Did not bring it, but I'm confident you could provide it. When you took the position as chief, you drew up your own list of goals that you were gonna accomplish for the police department in the town of Canaan, which in theory and in good intent was going to rectify some of these problems. It was gonna help retain staff,
Mhm.
and it was gonna help bring some of these stats down.
Yep.
So my apologies, I don't have that list with me, but what I'd like to see before we talk these sort of substantial increases in putting more staff on is what part of those goals has been worked on. Because I know time is an issue, right? So you can't just magically do it, so don't get me wrong, right? But I know there was a pretty lofty set of goals that you were looking for. And you've been chief for how long?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. So I would be curious if and what of those goals have been completed. And how we could help to complete more of those goals to see if that helps bring some of this alleviated stress down. Before we talk just throwing more money at a problem. How do we work as elected officials to help you and your department reach and obtain those goals? Because I will tell you, the goal sheet that you provided this select board was worthy. It was a worthy sheet. And I know we all appreciated your goals. So do you have a summary of what those goals were and what's been accomplished?
I don't have it in front of me, but I can tell you, so one of the goals, the main goals was to increase our transparency, so I went out and I got a $50,000 body camera grant, we added new body cameras, we added new cruiser cameras that you all remember the articles about how the cameras didn't work, and we increased that, we got those installed. I have gone out, the staff retention is tough because not everybody chased, one guy retired after 20-something years, you know, one guy went to the state police because he had a goal to move out of the state or go somewhere else in the state. He got a nice bonus to go to the state police. One guy just went back to Enfield. So guys want to come here, thankfully, because we are known to have a good agency and people like to work for the town of Canton. I can't help that guys went for other reasons than it wasn't that they didn't feel supported and they didn't enjoy working for the town of Canton. I don't know how to fix that problem with, unless people stop giving these huge bonuses to attract people every 3 years. That's what's happening. You sign a 3-year deal and you go to the next place for a 3-year deal. You do it again, you do it, and the entire state and country is having the same problem. I wish I could stop that. I don't think it's ever gonna stop.
No, I agree.
So, which I understand, and we were dealing with that before and we have been, and I don't see it changing either. But I will say, and I appreciate, and I think you know this, I really do appreciate your effort with getting grants and obtaining, I mean, you've got a lot of stuff for our town through grant, and I know that for a fact, right? But the items that you were able to list from your goal increases your equipment and increases some of the communication and transparency through town, through you from the department to the town folk, right? But how does that, I don't think those goals actually help with alleviating the stress on your officers or any of the other things that are gonna retain officers, or not only retain officers, because I know that's gonna be a hard shot either way, I get it.
I can't control the amount of calls for service we get. you
So
know.
that's what I'm saying though, but if we can make some adjustments other than just throwing money and equipment at it. And have more community, I wish I had that list in front of me because I think it's a positive list. It's not a negative. And there were a lot of things that you were wanting to do. You were gonna do more community involvement with the police officers. We were gonna, host certain events and days and become more involved at the school and maybe if other things were put into place and we could take some money, if you need money to put some of that in place, right? That's cheaper on my taxpayer dollar than just throwing money in equipment that's just gonna be a turnover.
Yep.
These are services that are gonna be retained in the police department that can help train and help people feel more confident and get better interaction between our community and the police department. And then maybe we won't have more calls than everybody else around us.
Yeah,
I don't
excuse
wanna,
me.
I don't wanna,
Can I
cut off,
interrupt for a
but-
second?
yeah.
When you took office, Ryan, how many officers were there?
Sorry,
How many officers did we have when you
When I took over, we had full staff and then two left quickly. Todd retired and Joe had, he was going through the state police process.
Well, you
when
had
I-
six, right? And then Todd retired.
Yep.
And Joe went to the state police.
Yep.
And that was after a year or 2 year, I don't know,
us.
Todd's about a year out, right?
About a year.
Yeah. And Joe was recent.
He was probably a year ago.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, about a
Right.
year into Ryan's,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. a little
yeah,
less.
so you were operating at, what, 60% of of staffing
Yes,
since Joe left,
yes.
right? So that puts a lot of stress on people, right? It might have caused Cameron to decide to go back to Enfield other than the bonus.
Yeah, there was more to it.
Yeah, I
Discussed, but.
we don't want to get into personnel issues here. Okay, but, so you've been basically trying to run a department substantially understaffed.
Yes. The
Right,
hard.
so
part
to
is that-
achieve any of the goals that were on your list of things that you wanted, right? I assume that you were assuming that you would have a full staff
I
at
did.
that point in time. So in order to be fair, Dan, I would think that, the fact that he has not had sufficient staff. So I think that staffing is critical to, any business, obviously, as we all know. Right? I mean, when you're understaffed, people are stressed, they work hard, they do make mistakes, stuff happens, right? So I think, looking at the staffing issue, and it is an increase, certainly.
I would like to mention.
Go ahead. Yeah,
In
go
the
ahead.
2 years that I have been here, I have met with the select board and with Chet. As part of my contract, they do reviews on me
Mm-hmm.
and the goals that I have to meet annually, I have to meet those to get a good review. I have not had a bad review yet, so.
Mm-hmm.
We're working hard, we're doing everything we can, and I completely understand I'm asking for a lot of money here. I get that. I just, we had not asked for another police officer to add. I don't know, I never did. I don't remember when Sam, the last time he
Yeah,
asked.
Sam did, they had a part-time one, but that was probably like 10 years ago.
So,
I think.
Well, you're asking for, sorry, Sid, you're asking for $74,000 over the budget from last year. The budget for salaries was 559, and you're now if you were asking for the full tilt, it would be 634. Right, so you're asking for $74,000 more. Right, includes raises and everything else that's going on. Right, so that's not a giant increase in
Not for
Right.
this line item, which is very important.
that's.
So
Okay, so yeah, go ahead, Chet.
I just wanna,
I want to be clear that we're not asking for, the moon here.
What is the the call per officer ratio in some of our surrounding towns? Because I mean, when you look at, we are 5 officers, we are not 6.
Mhm.
Okay, we're doing the school and we're being reimbursed, like, we're not even looking at the revenue side of this, like, that officer.
Yeah.
Is pretty much taken care of. So we're looking at 100 calls per officer.
we
in
do
this
about
town.
16 calls a day, so 500 calls a month or so.
You said 5,000 calls and you have 5 officers, so it's 1,000 calls per
1,000
officer.
calls per
Enfield has
officer.
8 with 3,000,
Right,
so.
so I'm saying.
we're doing double
ratios
what they're
are
doing.
Way above, because all the things you're talking about are things that will have long-term benefit.
Right.
But it may take 5 years to get there.
sure.
And the
but
issue
when did
is,
that 5
and the
years
issue
start?
is, and I'm gonna speak, outside of Canaan right now, because my wife is a school administrator. And when I tell you, she was having to get therapy for the stuff she was dealing with, because the things that are going on in people's homes now and what's going on with the people that are involved with drug, which is very heavy, and actually, unfortunately, Canaan, because it was probably one of the more affordable places, has drawn more of the drug culture in from Lebanon and things like that. I know in the city of Rutland, it's a Lebanon-esque type of thing. Their officers last an average of 6 months.
Mhm.
Okay, that's all they can take when they go in and see what they see in these houses. So when you look at 5 officers for 4,500 people compared to what we're surrounding, I think we are understaffed. I think we have to deal with that. not saying we have to do that this year. But I think it's a very valid concern that Ryan's bringing to
Yeah,
the
oh,
budget
no, I
committee,
understand.
and it's just, my opinion, we're gonna end up there at some point. It's just when and how.
Alright, so if you want more community involvement, and the other, some of the other things that was on his list. That means you need to have people who can do that. You can't do that operating with 60%
You
capacity.
need.
You need,
communications
you
operator,
need more,
somebody.
right?
Yeah.
If you wanna have better retention, you can't have people who are stressed out in their jobs and being forced to work overtime. Right, so I think that I think what's being asked for here is a reasonable attempt to get enough staffing around to start to make some progress. Go ahead, Dan.
I don't necessarily disagree.
Mhm.
And I want to stress the point that I made while I was speaking, that I see it as a positive. I was impressed with your goal list. I'm not trying to make this a negative, and if it come off that way.
No, no,
Not at all.
not at all, not at all, Dan.
What I do want to do is ask my due diligence as a
Sure.
taxpayer. right?
Yes,
And I agree with, part of Brian's comment is I don't think it's always the best solution to throw things at things that aren't working. We need to figure out why.
right.
If the core problem of why this isn't working is because we are one officer short, right? I hear you, but I have a hard time believing. And I'm answering my own question while I'm thinking my thought through. One officer is not gonna change it all. One officer is not gonna help it all, but it sure is gonna help. Right?
Yeah.
So, cause that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna have a hard time believing that one officer and everything outfitted is gonna make all this just go away. It's not going to, but it may make it a little more obtainable to reach some of those other goals, right? And more manageable on a daily basis. I will tell you what,
We're meeting those goals, Dan, that I set out for, as a department. But it's very hard with the lack of staff.
But-
It's hard.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I am still trying to paint the same amount of houses with half the guys, right? So not going to people's houses and doing what you're doing, but still trying to hold that same level, right? You've got to do it. So I hear what you're saying, right? And I haven't had a chance since I left the board to talk to anybody about those goals. So the fact that I'm hearing as a resident that those goals are being met, I'm appreciative of. Right? Because I know it's not an easy game.
All right, Sadie.
I wanted to say that I think that the community policing has stepped up as a parent of a kid in high school. The police officers are present, you probably do the career day, you do like touch a truck for Project Grad, they were there at homecoming. My kid, I don't know if I can be word or not, will drive by and she's like, oh, that's officer so-and-so, but I think it's okay, she just knows their names, but
So,
I don't know, I mean, I think like coffee with a cop in theory is probably a good idea. I've been to some, they're historically low attended. And it's not people that probably need to meet Ryan, there's the people that are behaving, but I think as far as the involvement at the school level, I have definitely seen an increase in a positive way.
But I
As
mean,
a parent.
we've done the community stuff too, not just the school. We're at the park when they do the movie nights where, these officers are volunteering their time. They're not being paid to be there. We're all volunteering our time.
so I'll tell you that this 30 seconds of the conversation answers a whole ton for me, because before that, all I heard was you've updated some equipment and got some more things. Right? And I know you don't have it in front of you, neither do I. So this conversation carrying on this long is a benefit to me.
Yep.
Go
ahead, Brian.
So I'd like to say first and foremost, Ryan, I appreciate you and your whole team. You guys have way more on your shoulders than you should have, but you and I talked about that way back when.
Yes.
I think the town has done a disservice to the police department, to be honest, because we don't have a real plan for what it is we expect from our police department. We expect everything. We expect when a call comes in, they go. And that's what he's doing every day.
Yeah.
And this is always gonna be a problem in Little Town. That's why I'm trying to look back at crime stats from the state. I'm looking at, we say we have a drug problem. So last year in 2024, there were 12 crimes reported in this town. We cleared 75% of them. We made eight arrests, all under DUI, drug narcotic violations. That was a 71% increase from the year before. I'm focused on stats. The town should be focused on stats. He's bringing stats, he's focused on stats. We're gonna have to deal with 500 calls a month, right? How do I deal with 500 calls? So the first question is, he knows he's gotta deal with 500. What the town has to understand is, does he have to deal with 500? And we've given him no guidance forever. There's no charter that tells the police department what it is that's expected. They just know they've gotta go when the call comes in, and that's why I have a full-time chief to handle that on a daily basis. If we have things like we just talked about the 30 seconds ago that said, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What the town needs to do is be able to communicate that to the rest of us. That doesn't mean a police department officer has to do that. That just means that somebody needs to take the data and share it with us. So we feel more better about the job that they're doing every damn day. And the volunteer work that they're doing. Or him establishing last year 80 grand worth of money. That did get reported in the end of the year report. But these are the kind of things you have to just keep telling the town all the time.
I'm very excited that we have Monica
All the time.
building our website for us. It looks great. So that's gonna be a really big tool for us.
Those are the things that make, when you need another person, you know, yeah,
Right.
they do need another person.
I think I'm gonna, cut this conversation at this point in time. I think we
Can I say one more?
quickly
I'm
though,
trying to be quick. So
quickly though.
one more cop is 20% more coverage. Don't look at it as what's one guy gonna do? Take whatever's going on and improve it by 20%.
Right.
That's a big number.
Right, so I think the question here is, do we want to have as our recommendation the 634 number or the 569 number? Obviously, the 569 number puts the position that the chief is asking for in somewhat of a tenuous position, asking for it in the warrant. Putting it in the budget guarantees that he has the opportunity to move forward on that basis.
If the budget passes.
If the budget passes, that's another whole nother can of fish that we'll get to at the end of the world.
Sal,
Yes,
the
sir.
idea with putting it on the warrant though was because we're adding in a whole nother position that
Mhm.
hasn't been historically been part of the force, correct? We're increasing that size of the force.
The reason
I
for
don't-
moving it in was when we looked at the budget, we talked about it's gonna be a 9% increase for a couple of years in a row. Is we wanted you to be able to see the comparison. We included originally the position in the budget. We looked at the percentages and we're like, okay, well, let's pull it out for the time being for the conversation with the budget committee. But I would recommend that it be in the budget.
If it's in the budget, it's better to have it and not need it. If it's on a warrant article, you risk needing it and not having it.
That's correct.
So I wouldn't do that either.
But we are increasing the size of the force,
Yes,
correct?
But that's,
Yes,
that doesn't have. to
that's
go to the
absolutely
warrant.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
yes, but that doesn't need any
No.
approval
And I
from
heard at one point
anywhere
in
other
time, it
than,
was 6. There were 6 officers at
budget.
one point in time.
yes.
There are 6.
So we're not really increasing the force, we're just getting it back to full.
No,
Well, we're-
adding- no.
Remember,
Adding an
Seven,
officer.
but we're 6.
Adding in a
We're
position.
5 operating on what.
You want 6.
Yeah.
And an SRO.
Gotcha.
That's a whole
I
person.
get, the SRO
And
was, I put him in a.
fully capable individual.
Dan,
This,
bless,
I think it's valid, Sal.
no, go ahead.
Um,
Of course you do.
Remind me, Ryan, why we can't split the SRO with Enfield? Why are we solely responsible for the SRO?
We're responsible for 25% of it. The school pays 75%, but the 3 schools that we cover. I don't know if there's a reason why, we just have not worked with Enfield to have them contribute, and then Enfield PD likes to cover Enfield. And one of the schools that, it's an elementary school, so Canaan Elementary School takes up far less time for Officer Button than the high school and the IRS. He spends most of his time in those 2 schools. He goes to the elementary school when he wants to go have lunch with the kids and he can get a little breather, but he'll drive from the high school to the elementary school and get turned right back around and go back up there for another 3 or 4 calls.
So is there any way we can? How do we, and it's not only splitting the funding, right, but splitting the time. So how can we split the time so Enfield has to dedicate one of their officers to sitting at the school and not only Kane?
Well, it's jurisdictional issues. They're sworn in Enfield, we're in Canaan, so it'd be a jurisdictional issue for them. They'd have to be like dual sworn officers to have any authority in the town of Canaan. They wouldn't be able to do that, just like we wouldn't go to Enfield and have authority there. We have a mutual aid agreement, but it's upon their request.
But, yeah, but I think the only issue there then, Dan, what you're really boiling down to is if he only instead of spending 75% of his time at the school, for instance,
Hmm.
right, he would spend 50% of his
Yeah.
time, but then we would only get reimbursed for
Yeah, our
50.
budget goes up.
So the budget doesn't
It,
really.
So I'm not talking budgeting, I'm talking time.
No, I understand. I just want to make sure that we're
Boots on
clear
the
on,
ground.
yeah,
But
that-
you're.
exactly.
If
yeah,
we-
I
let's
get
assume we took the SRO out and Enfield took it over.
Yeah.
Our budget's still gonna go up because we're losing the revenue.
Right,
Like
but
the
I'm not
expense side
talking budget.
doesn't,
He's talking
But I-
time.
but it
Boots on
doesn't-
the ground.
I
And
understand.
Ryan's saying he needs boots on the ground,
That's right.
right?
Yes.
So in
But you
order
have
to
two
do
ways to
that
do it.
comes the revenue increase, or the budget increase. So if we can take boots that we already have and put them on the ground more, there should not be as much of an increase, no?
No, it's gonna be exactly the same increase because we're gonna have exactly that amount reduced on the revenue side. The revenue, that's what I was trying to explain. There's no change in the budget. If we reduce one, if we reduce revenue, the expense is gonna stay the same, but we're gonna reduce revenue. Or we can leave revenue where it is and by the same amount, increase expense. It's all the same.
Right, so let's close this
Thank
up,
you,
please.
Tom.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right, so let's take a vote on whether or not, what we want to recommend as our line item for this. All those in favor of 634,085,76?
Aye.
What's the number on that? Cause
Big number.
That's to
Big
put it,
number.
that's to put the officer. in
The officer in the budget.
Yeah.
That's to put.
That's to
make
put
sure
the
that-
officer in the actual budget,
To put the budget.
correct?
634, 85,
Right,
76.
all those in favor?
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 in favor of that, and all those opposed?
Aye.
2.
Aye.
So the number we're gonna use in there is 634,085, and forget about the warrant.
Okay.
Good,
Well, that
thank
was
you.
easy.
Well, no,
What?
no, it was informative, and I think
Yeah.
that, it's something that from year to year, we're gonna have to start to take a look at, like, we would expect now that if this works and we can retain officers and get more get them doing more things, then we should see more progress against some of the goals that, the chief is trying to, and chartered to do. And if not, then next year, we're gonna have a very different conversation around this.
So how did we just forget the warrant all of a sudden though? Where did I miss that? How is that included?
That was the difference.
That was the difference. In other words,
Okay, so you voted, right,
so there will be no warrant requesting 70 some odd 100,000, whatever the number
and
is.
tell me why again?
We put the officer in the budget.
Put it in the budget now, it's
Not as a warrant
So
article.
the budget committee just voted to put it in the budget, not to take it to a warrant?
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct.
So instead of this amount, or that amount.
Understood.
There's gonna be other things on the warrants.
And if we would have voted, and so it's a learning curve, so if we
Sure.
would have voted the lesser amount,
Right, then
then we would have also voted to see if the other amount went to warrant or not.
Correct.
there would have been a warrant.
There would have been a warrant.
And whether or not we approved that or not would have been a whole other,
All right, that's just a learning.
so we
curve.
settled that issue for us. We're not gonna have to deal with a warrant to hire another police person.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What else we got there?
Thank you, Tim. We're moving on to the on-call salary. So the union contract, it dictates that the officer gets paid $8 an hour to be on call. We take all the calls here in town. We do not rely on state police or outside agencies to come in. Officers go home at 2 AM when we're fully staffed. And they come back in at 6 AM. So with 4 hours for 7 days a week, we're on call. That equals, $224 a week. We padded it a little bit because there's inevitably times that we don't have coverage and there's officers that have to cover sometimes or be on call until 8 AM. And that happened to us this year because we were running so lean. Officers were going home at midnight or on call until 6 or 8 AM, depending on which officer was coming in for the day shift, typically me at 7:30. And so that's why we have this little bit of an increase to 14,000 for the on-call salaries.
And I think it should be noted that the 13,960, the actual we spent this year is through 9/30. So it's gonna be
And that is
more.
because we had a lot on call.
No, I totally understand because we were understaffed.
Yes, the number actually will.
So-
It'll be more than
Because-
14, right?
Yeah,
Right?
right, yeah, well, I mean,
Lowering taxes.
if it's 14 for 9 months, figure out what the extra is gonna be for the, 16,000, 17,000, so, and he's only asking for 14. Now that, especially since now he's got his, other guy going in there, we should be,
Slow the bleeding down a little bit now. that
There
we
you
have
go,
two new
brother.
officers
Thank you.
coming. So,
okay,
any questions about that?
nope,
PD.
so we
Parks-
accept all that, we accept 14, everybody, we're
Do
good
we
with
need,
14.
do we need to motions all these or?
No, we're just gonna, we can just, that one, the
Yes.
first one was important, but in a whole different context, so I think if we just, yes is good, 14 is our number, go ahead.
Our part-time salaries, we have Wayne Agan, he puts in the 3 days a week, he does all of our prosecution. Case files, report review, we're sending him, over 100 reports easily a week, sometimes even 200 reports a week that we send him. He has to review everything. Everything has to be in our system. When an officer submits a report, everything has to be reviewed before it can basically pass through the system. And so it takes a lot of time for people to sit there and read through this. I don't have a supervisor as of right now to take on that role, but even if I did, it would be pretty time consuming for him. So we do have that salary at 30, or that line at 38,590. With a little bit of change.
That's an
And that's
inflation
what we have
increase,
is
is that,
part-time.
is that the standard inflation that you put in, or?
Yeah, I think we just picked like a random hour that made sense and then added 2.8%.
Yeah, well, last year's budget was 37, and you're up to 38, so it's $1,000 more. Go ahead, thank you, we'll accept that number, yes?
Overtime line, we have at 30,000, that's our call-in, so officers, when they get called in, they get a minimum per the contract. They get a minimum for court, so if you're off duty, covers all, incidents, homicides, so things that we're out past the regular times. So
Mhm.
we have that at 30,000. We've been doing really well managing that, even with the short staff right now. So we're getting pretty creative on how to keep that down.
And I
So
think-
in 24, the actual was 24,984, right?
Mhm.
And he budgeted for 30 again, and for 2025, the actual to date is 25,3.
Yeah.
But am I right in thinking theoretically, if we had a full staff, that time needed would go down?
Could, yes, depending on what happens, but yes.
Sure,
Yeah.
right? But at the sake of trying to keep the budget square and not only add things in, I would propose that we don't increase that. If we're increasing the amount of staff, then that should decrease the amount of that over time.
I'm only slightly concerned if we do add a staff member, there's a possibility that they get involved in cases and they'll have to go to court and, but, yeah.
Well, I think the number is static from last year, it was 30,000 budgeted, it's 30,000 being proposed for this year.
I think we also have to consider if it passes and we hire someone in May or start hiring, and then they have to go to academy. And then they're with another officer for, I don't know, like years, it
Yep.
seems, so it's,
Right,
it's not really like in May, we would just have somebody on board probably that's certified and ready to go.
Well, we're on track to spend roughly 33,800 this year. In the actual, when we get to the end of the year.
Yeah, that 25 is only 9 months, so that's another one that's gonna be over the budget. by the
Yeah,
time we get
33.
because we're understaffed.
Yeah,
But if we add an extra position, we're gonna have more officers than we've had in the past.
Yes,
Yeah,
So
but-
why shouldn't that?
The only thing I would recommend, because it's not a full year, you can assume it's at best 6 months. That you would have that officer working, like if they came certified. But it's almost like you're gonna have to just see what actual happens when you have that staffing, it's not gonna be off by much. Because you're gonna have done half the year, and if you were saying, well, that's, 30,000 divided by 6 or 5. Is $6,000, where you're gonna get maybe 3 of that is all you would get back. And my point is, I don't know that that's worth taking the risk, then depending on what we get.
Well, in one issue earlier, we said 300 or 400 weren't, but 1,000 would be, and now we're saying 3,000-4,000 wouldn't be worth considering reducing it. On a different line item, I understand, but in 2024, we were fully staffed, right?
No.
Yeah,
No,
mostly.
mostly.
Mostly, and in 2024, the actual was 25 grand. So that number, that stat shows me when we're fully staffed, that number goes down. So we're not only gonna be fully staffed, we're adding an officer. So I would propose that it stays, that it's 25, but
Well,
that's just my.
That's before two cost of livings, so at least 7 or 8% above that. You'd have to split that difference, I think, if you were gonna make any adjustment.
Yeah, and
Bob,
and
you
it
had
was-
something you wanted to say?
Yeah, there was more than just, well, there's more bodies, so less overtime, because like you said, that happen to go to court and have to go to trainings and things like that. Those are all gonna still be there. Those aren't gonna go away. Actually, they could go up theoretically. If everybody has to go to training, that's another guy that's gonna go to training.
Yeah, the state's requiring we go to 30 hours at least.
I think it might go down a little, Dan, but I don't know if we can quantify how much it would go down, so.
And I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
staying with
for
the
discussion.
2025 budget was 30, not raising it, keeping it 30 seems reasonable. And if we do see a decrease, we could talk about this next year, what does a full complement look like? And I just don't think we can
Would
quantify
you
it.
like to make a motion to accept a different number other than 30 for the budget committee?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to have that at 25,000.
Get a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of reducing the overtime from 30 to 25,000 as our recommendations? All those in favor?
Aye.
One. All those opposed? Abstains, one, so that's a no. All right, so will we have a motion to accept the $30,000?
Plays it safe, man.
Do we have a motion
I
to
know my name's all over, but I'll make that
the
motion.
30,000?
Keep moving.
Okay, accept 30,000? Have a second on
I'll
that?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And one opposed. Okay, so that 30 is our number. Next,
UD health insurance, we have at 168, 751.
don't worry about that. Good, next, life.
Go
Go ahead. Sorry, yes, hang
If you're
on.
gonna add the full-time officer to the budget, you would just accept everything under the
Yep.
2026 BOS. Cause that's gonna also affect health insurance, life insurance, FICA and retirement.
And that's what's in that bottom
Yep.
line when she told you, that's all
Yep.
included.
That's
So you're doing that
That's
whole
fair.
row.
So those numbers are gonna change.
No, they're all gonna
No.
stay in the BOS line.
BOS
not
Oh,
the
yeah, I'm sorry. So we're gonna, yes, so we're gonna accept all the BOS
Everything
numbers,
related to employment.
employment, yes, anything related to employment. Is that okay? Anybody have any problems with that? No,
So we're down to workers, uniforms, is that what you're saying?
training? Training is already in that context? No.
Yep.
Yeah. Unemployment is good, workers' comp is good, uniforms good, and software support are good. What else you got? Phone, internet?
Does the software change though? I mean, these things
Go
are
ahead.
highlighted in black, right? Does it? We've adjusted something there?
That was just a note, what's all included in it.
Okay, and that's including the IT that was previously grouped together? Yes.
Yep.
Now it's gonna show up in the department that, like you were asking Dan before?
Yeah.
Under 4210-10-230. Software support, that highlighted item. That shows that they're moving the IT support under the department that's receiving the IT support. Instead of grouping it together like we were talking about.
There, good call.
And that's something that the administrator and the finance manager is taking on to update budget process.
Okay.
Yeah, chief, wherever you wanna pick up.
You wanna pick up at the electricity and heating fuel, do you want me to go there?
Nah, I think we should probably
Alright,
pass on those.
Well, technically, if we had another body. it should be this-
I'm gonna have more electricity.
But on the cheat sheet that we got, police fuel, you decreased $8,000. Because
Where are we now, bud? I'm sorry.
back
what
on the
line?
proposed budget change.
Sure.
Sheet.
Yep.
Three-quarters of the way down, police fuel decreased by $8,000. Fuel.
Yeah, I'd taken our 2025 year-to-date number, divided it by the number of officers we had. Cause also the price of fuel has been going down, and then I multiplied that by possibly having the new officer added. So it looked like 24,000 was working for us. So I decreased it from the 30,000 down to the 24,000.
I like it.
And next year, you're gonna have even better numbers, because we're getting a card system on the fuel pumps.
So that's what I was just gonna say, we do actually, because when I was last sitting here for meetings, we didn't quite have figured out. All the departments were pulling from the same tip.
Yeah.
So we do have numbers now to
No,
show what
we're-
the actual,
They're being installed like this week or next week. We will have it for next year.
so.
Real
What are we
numbers.
basing, not that I question why or how, but what are we basing that $24,000 off then if we don't know?
Right
Yeah.
now, there's been a clipboard full of pieces of paper, and everybody writes down from the.
Ariane goes through them religiously every day.
So don't go over there and take the papers off the. clip.
Stop, don't touch anything. Dude, got a big sign, do not touch, is that?
Sorry, I
Which is why we are now getting a system that.
All right, right, well, thank you for taking us to that number, so we're gonna accept 24,000, I'm sorry, Bob.
So 4210, 10, 415 on page 10.
Yes,
So in this one, we're gonna go with the TA number.
correct,
So that what 24,000 coming over, not the 30 isn't just carrying over.
that's
Right.
correct, we're gonna take, is everybody okay with that, accepting the 24? Or does somebody wanna spend more money, we don't have to.
Well, it's something,
Which-
we made some headway somewhere.
Yeah, thank goodness, right,
That's good.
progress, 24, yeah.
Thanks, Carrie Ann.
All right, any other thing else you got there, Ryan?
PD building repairs and maintenance, I would like to put a new side door on our garage door. We have an overhead garage door opener that needs to be replaced. That's gonna be about $2,000 for the commercial door opener. I anticipate that has to go soon because it's not opening properly and not closing properly, so I have to schedule that. I'm hoping it'll get us through the year, so I really would like to change that after the budget either passes or not. That's what we're doing.
Just put a guard on the door. Just put a guard on the door.
Well, wait a minute, no, so far, we've only spent, we had a budget of $5,000 for 2025, and we've only spent $1,000 so far.
And just for the purposes of discussion, when I was talking about the security doors, the 16, there are 16 that we're.
Was that one of the ones we're
And
talking
I believe
about?
that's one of the ones, so it would actually be done in this calendar year if we're able to. get
Right,
it
that's what
approved
I was
next
getting
Tuesday.
at, yeah.
So we're gonna shoot for that, and if we can't, then we may have to bump this a little.
I know,
Over five, no,
I don't know if this is cheap.
Not capital, well, it's capital if we do it as a group.
no, I understand that, we've already had that conversation.
Right.
Not everybody here has had that conversation.
I don't know if this,
Yeah.
This is a revisit for me, but,
Chief,
can I ask
are
that?
you looking for 2,000 more on top of that five?
No,
no.
Okay.
no.
But if it's, maybe
Go ahead,
I'm
Mike.
confused
Yeah,
here
sure,
now.
sure.
You only spent 1,000, you just said 2,000 for the door.
That's what
to
I'm
Fix
getting
it,
at, yeah.
why isn't it coming out of the this year's budget?
Well, it may, I mean, we just gotta get approval, but the issue is we have 16 doors that are a problem that we're bringing to the select board. And we just wanna get the purchase order approved.
Oh, but he's
And
just talking
then-
about one door.
Well, that's one, but there's actually two on this side, two on the fire side, two on that building, they're kind of everywhere.
And that's why you would have to bump it up,
Yes.
because not just because of his door, his
Correct.
door is gonna come under budget.
Yes,
Oh, okay, thank you.
Right, and what I think the chief is saying is, if that doesn't happen, then he needs at least an extra 2,000 over the 5 in order to get that one door done.
Right.
Right.
Right, but I doubt that that's gonna be the case, by the way, I think it's pretty much a fait accompli that we're gonna get the security doors approved and paid for with current 2025 dollars. All across the board, wherever we need them,
well, we're going to, that's what we intend to.
right, Zadie?
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
I don't-
well, come on now, you're the representative on the
We've had-
select board, is
the
this gonna
select
be
board
a
meetings-
problem or not?
The select board meetings have been a little depressing the last couple of times.
So.
Go ahead.
It's a financial stuff, I just defer to Carrie Ann. I asked her, do we have the money?
Yes,
It says yes or no.
Arian, do we have the money? Do we have the money?
Yes.
Budget looks
Yes.
good. Cash flow's a mess, but the budget's good.
Good, okay. Go ahead, Bob, yeah,
So I don't know if this is a rabbit hole and feel free to
sure.
pull on my choke chain. So are these prices for these doors installed?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
or
Installed with
With
Keys
the-
Fob system.
Yeah, with a security.
Oh, 'cause-
box, yeah.
somewhere, I don't think we've talked about it yet, but at some point in time, I see like in the bottom of that page, the full-time maintenance person
Yes,
that you wanted to add,
yes,
is he gonna put the doors in?
no.
Or she.
Or
That's
she? Are they
contract.
gonna put
That's
the
a-
doors in?
No, that's a contractor that would be doing this part of it because it started, and I don't know if I said it here, I
Yes,
apologize.
you said it to me, say it to them.
But the issue is, we had somebody come in, we have a significant lock problem throughout town, like the locks are failing, breaking. And we brought a locksmith in to
Credit
do a
cards get you.
system and figure out how we're gonna do this. And he said, I won't put locks on any of these doors. He said, he goes, I could put you a nice, beautiful gold lock on this, and somebody's gonna go in there and just open the door. He said, we need to replace the door with it, and there were certain ones, he said, these gotta be, or you have no security. So, the issue is now it's gonna be a complete package of per door, and these are the ones we're gonna do. And I have an overall item, I'm getting a better itemized list, hopefully tomorrow, if not Monday. That says this is how we're gonna proceed. But we are getting a lock system, we will have the equivalent, electronic equivalent of a master key system, so certain people will have access to certain things, certain ones they won't. There'll be public access keys where they can use them at the meeting house if they have an event there. It's like they go in, and when they leave, it's off.
It's a card oriented.
He's
system.
recommending card. Some people like the fob better. We're gonna talk about that once we know if we're gonna do it
Card's been used a lot.
Yeah, and by the way, that's gonna be part of the CIP
going forward.
going forward recommendation.
This is gonna sound wildly Canaan to you, probably.
That's
But
a
The
really.
doors that
dangerous
you
word.
can use a credit card to open.
Yeah.
Did we think about maybe just bolting a piece of metal over that
Putting
part
a
of the
lock.
door? So you
Yes, we
can't-
have considered that, and they still are not. Like our hinges, are
Just,
security
could
hinges.
you not listen for just a minute? Oh, this is recorded. I can't say what I was gonna say, but.
You're learning.
Yeah, I've heard on the street of people breaking into the high school this way.
Yeah.
Decades ago, so I mean, there are ways to stop it.
There
I'm
are
just
ways,
saying.
the
I've
issue is,
heard that on the street.
but again, the doors. Are able to be opened even if you don't do it with the credit card style. We don't have security hinges on them. We don't have anything that's security related on any of our doors. We have these nice keypads that everybody on the planet knows the combination. I mean, especially the meeting house, everybody knows the meeting house combination.
If we got a card control, who's?
That's gonna be in the office. Right now, the most likely person would be Rebel and myself.
Okay.
That would be managing that system.
Right.
For an example, the library front door just opens. They lock it, it opens. People go in when it's closed. People use the copier and leave money. I don't want somebody to walk in the morning. and-
At least they leave money.
There could be 20 different reasons why that door doesn't close.
It's adjusted 2 or 3 times a year and we have to pay for that, but it doesn't, and you can't necessarily block things, cause then you have fire hazard, you need a point of egress, and so.
We've had that looked at by contractors,
Yeah.
ourselves, multiple people have worked on that door and it won't work anymore.
All right, can we move on then? So are we gonna accept 5,000 as the building repairs for
Yeah.
budget?
Yep.
And can we accept 15,000 as the vehicle repair and maintenance?
Smashing on the doors.
Well, so that one-
Go ahead.
Are we,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out how to say it.
Yeah.
We talked a while back about the mechanic.
Replace.
So are we going to have a mechanic in town that's gonna do these repairs? Is this just parts, or is this his salary, or is this going out to the Ford dealer?
The parts, what the mechanics started doing is coding the invoices to the department instead of just lumping it into the generic mechanic.
So this came off of some other budget and moved over to here. Okay.
And
I
we
can live with
have, and just for everybody's knowledge, we have. a
4210, 10.
New mechanic starting on the 6th. Guy has come back.
Oh, guy's back.
Guy's back.
Oh, thank goodness.
So that
Oh,
number looked like it was little, it got really.
you
big.
found out that
makes
trying to
sense.
run your own business doesn't work so easy?
Well, no, he said he's actually, he's gotten, they're very stable, they're fully staffed. He goes,
Oh,
I don't like just
nice.
babysitting, I wanna do this, and I would like to have the health benefits, and he liked it here. And
Guy is great.
so
In
Guy will
case
be
you
back
guys
next
didn't
Monday.
know, you don't know
Well,
Guy.
the tuna.
Guy's a good
Well,
guy.
The other guy left.
He's not
2 weeks
kidding.
ago.
He's not
No, I
kidding.
didn't know that.
Yeah, we have.
All right, come on, let's
Told us, Hey, can I come?
Oh, he was getting late.
Where did he go?
I'd like to make.
He's actually looking for shade
5 minutes
installation.
until 8 o'clock at night.
All right,
He
let's
couldn't
keep going
really-
then. Let's get finished with this one. Come on.
PD equipment leases, tasers, body worn cameras.
Yeah,
fleet
that's a
cameras,
given.
which are our cruiser cameras. Those are on a 5-year lease cycle. That is the total cost for those. However, Chet, did we deduct the $10,000 a year from the grant?
No,
From that
not
cost?
from that number, no.
Okay. So every year I submit reimbursement, I'll get $10,000 for the next 5 years. Reimbursed for the cost of the
Right.
body worn.
Does that show up in the revenue?
That shows up in revenue, yeah.
We were talking about.
Thank you for that, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. Did you put it over there?
The answer, Brian, is yes. It will show up. in
Oh,
revenue.
excuse me. She does have it on the revenue side.
She
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
Okay.
I just didn't.
All right. Okay, property insurance,
So real quick though,
ahead.
if we add the officer, the full-time officer,
yes.
it's gonna increase that number by about 8%. So that'd be about $3,000 annually. So do we increase that number now, Carrie, or do we?
Yes.
If it's. At least one set.
Yes, we
Well, if
do.
it's related to the change in the overall department salaries, you should be updating all of the
Yes,
numbers.
that BOS should reflect that.
Right.
Okay, so it should go
Yeah,
from
it'd be
41,553 to 44,877. So
Yeah, well, we'll wait to get Carrie Ann's update, so it's accurate.
Okay.
She took note.
You know, she'll let us know, but we'll
Can I
accept
move
those
on to-
numbers. Yes, you can.
Please do.
Property liability insurance, PD dues and subscriptions, that just covers the annual dues that we pay for the Chiefs of Police Association, New England Patrol Officer Association, the law books that we provide the officers. Sort of things like that that we spend. I reduced that down by $500. I found that we weren't spending the entire amount. Custodial supplies, it's a $6,000 reduction.
Right. Can you back up to that?
Yep.
So the subscription to the associations.
Mhm.
How is that improving our? It's just a kumbaya thing?
No, it gives us access to all of those networks that we subscribe to. And so it's a much larger networking for us to rely on either services from New England. State Police Network, they will provide us with equipment for investigations. They'll come up here and set up cameras for us. They do a lot for us, and it's very, very reasonable amount to pay to get those services. It just helps us for stuff that we don't have.
That's again the kind of thing that. Perhaps a regular individual citizen wouldn't understand. How that helps the town.
Okay,
Custodial supplies, we reduced that down from 9,000 to about $3,500. So things have been shifted. We found out that we were purchasing the supplies for the EOC and for the break rooms, and so a lot of the supplies that we were purchasing for what we thought was the PD should have been doled out to different sections. So we reduced that down to $3,500 just for the PD. Departmental supplies, I have at $3,000. That pays for all of our files and binders that we use for investigations and office supplies, pens, paper, whatnot. Miscellaneous line item, we use that for some community policing supplies that we can put out that we use. We had just that filler because we ran into an issue for the last 2 years where we had purchases that we had to make, but we didn't really know where to put them. So we added 2,000 to the miscellaneous line. PD equipment, it's that 35,000 that pays for our ammo, our targets, the officers were required when they go to the academy to have 2,000 rounds. That's pretty expensive, so we built that in. Tasers, body worn cameras, and Fleet 3 and stuff. So did we account, Chet, in that line item to? If we're gonna take it out of there now, I'm assuming if we have it into the PD leases.
we're talking 10,740.
Yeah, so, or was that the outfitting of the cruiser,
That was outbidding.
the additional cost?
Yes.
So we went from $92,000 budget to $35,000.
So the academy then,
The equipment line was where we budgeted this year to take on the leases. So next year, if we move the leases into its own line,
Thank you.
So the academy, in addition to the salaries we pay. It's not free in that is there any other expenses that we pay at the academy besides ammo and targets?
No. We don't buy the targets. We have to supply the ammunition
Yeah.
for them to do all their qualifications and stuff.
That's to have 2,000 rounds? did you
About,
say?
yeah, about 2,000 rounds.
Okay,
We want them to be good shots.
I get that, but originally the idea was the academy was a freebie.
It is. I
It's
mean,
free except.
It's
for-
not a freebie.
Not a freebie.
It's
If you pay for
2,000 rounds.
2,000 rounds is not free.
Plus what? $1,500?
yeah, good. It's non-frangible, so it's.
In the old days, 22 round are not too bad.
Hmm,
Right, but what do you pay per round, Ryan? You have to get them a certain place, I'm guessing, right? You,
We buy them from a dealer,
I mean,
so.
a ballpark.
Buy
$1,500 is just,
You get a little bit of.
Mhm.
it's not free.
yeah,
But frangible is, if you don't know what frangible ammo is, it's ammunition you can use in an inside range. So the academy has an indoor range and you have to have special ammunition. It's a little more expensive than typical ammo. They shoot outside.
all right.
That was today years old when I learned that.
Okay. Radar,
All good with the?
Yeah. yeah, radio,
Radar and radio, that's where we do all of our radio repairs and we do radar recertifications twice a year, so and if a radio goes down, they're about $3,500 to replace just the radio in the car. So we have that at 5,000.
Are we touch screens?
Are
Are we touch screens yet?
on our, no,
Radio equipment?
no,
That's good.
so we were at, in 23's 1985, actual 24, 640 out. To date, right now, we're at 1267. What justifies the 5,000?
I'll have to put a radio in the next.
So isn't that in a different line item though, as far as what we're budgeting to outfit the cruiser?
I did include the radio. I put it in this line. I can take it out and put it back in the other one, but
And the cruiser will go on a warrant, right? Or no, is that coming out of capital reserve?
no, capital.
And the reason it would be in this line item and not the other, because all of the other equipment, the tasers and everything else that's for outfitting is in the lease item.
Right.
This isn't gonna be leased when you buy that radio.
Okay,
all good.
yeah,
Thank you.
And then, where am I?
Mileage.
This is a reimbursement line. So for the officers, they spend 4.5 months at the academy. They have to travel in their own vehicles from their residence to the academy. This next officer that's going to the academy won't use up this amount of money. He is planning on staying at the academy. But they don't require that they stay there anymore. So they have to travel in and out of the academy. So we figured out that the last officer we spent around, was it about 5,000 carried in?
yeah, actually, there's 5,473.
Yeah, so. I don't anticipate that this officer is going to use that amount, but I wanted to plan for that. That's what it costs to have him travel back and forth for the 4 months.
And given there would be the additional officer, if this one doesn't, the other one will.
and that's that, end of story, right? That's it. All right, so we willing to accept all the TA numbers as they're presented there? Anybody have a problem with any of those? Good, we'll accept all of those. Thank you very much. You're done, boss.
Did we do the training?
There was one,
Oh, we didn't do something. Go ahead, sorry.
I'll just explain the training one. One
It's
of the
a-
things that he was talking about that I had come up with was the town wanted to see an increase in the officers getting more training. And so the state of New Hampshire right now requires that you get, they went from 12, now they're going up to 24. And I had agreed, and the select board at that time wanted me to increase the training, so I said, we will each do 30 hours of at least training, so. In order for me to do that, it is expensive, so I'm asking for the 9,500 in there. And each officer,
What the hell?
including me, will get.
What
a
line?
You
minimum.
know where we're talking.
What are we talking about?
We're gonna go back up in the police one that was on the page before.
Page 9, it's 4210-10-240.
LPD training, we're in the middle of the page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already accepted those.
Oh, you already did?
Oh, yes.
All right, well, I wanted to explain it anyways.
No, it's
I
okay.
like the.
No, you can't. Go ahead, explain.
No, it's just.
Oh, you
it's
just
that
explained,
I
right?
wanna, that's the goal that, I put in front of the select board and they wanted to see an increase in our training. I guess according to them from the past. Administrator, they felt like we weren't receiving enough training, so that was one of my goals that I agreed to do. And so in order to do that, I need an increase a little bit in money.
Okay.
And you think one of
It's the same as what's in this current year's budget, it's no increase.
you had said out loud, we're all good with the TA numbers, but on one of them, the TA number did go up. 4210-440 equipment leases went up. The 44,877, just so you know that.
Well, what we said was, we're gonna wait on Carrie Ann to roll the impact on
Okay,
all of them. Because there are other items that might be affected in there,
okay,
so we're gonna wait until we see what they are, but. Right,
sure.
just have to wait.
I just,
Thank you.
that number. Not bad.
Okay.
34 versus the 569.
Yeah.
In the TA line, he's got 634.
Yes.
What I'm doing.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
It's the other way around.
And are we gonna do meetings in planning board or tonight, or we wanna push those off? Does anybody wanna finish up these two items?
Meeting.
We all set with Chief Porter?
Meetings is one, yes, I think we're done with Chief Porter. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you,
Appreciate
everybody.
everything you do
Thank you
for
your
us.
service.
Appreciate it.
All right, so meetings, what line is that?
It's all the way up on page 2.
Page 2,
Very top.
the very top. Page 2.
We closed out the two. Now they just roll up into the executive wage line. And the only line that's left is the town report. So that's, we paid $2,999 to print the annual report in 2025. So we upped it a little bit to $3,500 for 2026.
Anybody have a problem with that? No.
We still can't get rid of paper.
How many of these do you still have?
Is there a requirement that we're trying to meet? That's my question. Is there,
When the year I came, there had been, before I got here, 600 had been ordered. Last year, we only ordered 400. And there's still some left.
Can we put that, or do we put that online?
Yeah.
It is
Oh,
online.
That's why I'm wondering if we need so many hard copies.
you're trying to repeat the 400 again?
That's what's in the budget. We didn't change it really.
Is there
that
any,
budget? Show me that again.
is there any RSA requirement for a certain number?
It's just that you have, technically, if people came in and asked. We have to have
You have
one.
to have a printed copy. I know.
Yeah, so
It
they have to
doesn't
get.
say how many.
No, it doesn't say how many, but
Percentage.
we need to have one.
So do you know how many, when I asked how many you still have, you said a lot? 100?
No, we probably have like 50.
So
Yes.
it's,
Give and take.
That white cabinet.
Yeah.
my thought process here is say, okay, we're gonna have 10% of the population.
Thanks again.
But 10% of the population includes every person, right?
Yeah.
Can we have a 10% of the voters?
You only need like
The ones
12.
that- the
No,
ones
we
that
need
actually-
four.
the ones that actually vote.
These
or
are registered.
Registered.
The
Yeah.
registered voters. Could we use it something based on a registered voter ID and then have a percentage, so if someone would
I
ask
think you wanna just
that?
go with last year's number, whatever it was, and just cut it down by some.
I agree. But I'm trying to pin something that says, okay, how did you come up with 400?
Just so you know, I don't know where the cutoff is, but the more I cut it back, like if I go from 400
still
to
got-
200, I'm gonna pay more and you're not gonna
Right.
save
You still
anything.
get more per copy, which is,
Right.
right,
So
so,
it's just one of those like,
so how many do they, I mean, where's the break, you know, when you
I
go to a
don't, that
customer?
I don't know off the top of my head.
So we'll just keep it,
Been asked for previous years books.
we just keep it at 400, so.
Yeah.
Storage,
Where,
how much is stored?
who does it now?
Who does what?
The
Printing,
printing.
right? Who's the
It's
best?
probably in the book.
Yeah, it's
RC Brayshaw.
Yeah,
Probably in the
Monica
book.
has a press.
Who is it?
RC Brayshaw.
yeah.
They're in Lebanon.
You're up near the airport.
Okay, planning board, John, go ahead.
Yeah.
Where are we?
What page?
I don't know, I'm asking, where are we?
Who's up first?
Planning board, who's that?
Planning board is page 5. The very bottom, it's there.
We didn't use any training this year. It's more and more we're doing web training, free courses. And we haven't expended anything. We should keep that open. Probably could knock it down to $100 maybe. Printing, we don't do any printing anymore. Years ago, we used to do a ton of it. It does happen in the town office where people ask for things to be printed, but that just gets buried in the general government. And then the postage. And if you got all the postage in your previously 12,000 accounts, now it's 10,000. Is all the postage there? So,
I think you had only requested this in 2025 for the master plan. Like, I thought last year you had a specific
Okay.
purpose for this.
this was a master plan thing?
Yeah,
Okay, so. Believe we've done what we wanted to do, so the actuals don't represent what we did. And so there's no need for the 2,200 this coming year.
So we're gonna change the 240 line to 100. And as the budget committee and 0 for 625.
Right.
Correct?
Yep.
Thank you. Next,
And books, $100 is probably about right.
fine.
And then miscellaneous looks right. Upper Valley, I assume they're gonna do a cost of living at some point. I don't know when that's gonna happen. And then the master plan, didn't really get anything out of the people I polled. I asked the parties involved what they wanted to do next year. And they really didn't have a plan or concept for what they want to do. And I think we should leave some kind of a placeholder here, like maybe 5,000.
All right, take that to 5.
Just to hold it. And then advertising, we're, under certain circumstances, we're required by law to put some ads in the Valley News. It's not that common. We didn't do it this year, but we should leave a sum of money in there. It's, you know, if you do one, it's $75 would probably cover 2 ads. So that's probably appropriate to,
Any
I was
questions?
thinking that we did put an ad in this year, so it probably ended up in somebody's account.
Yeah, the executive advertising line probably.
Probably. Could we just zero this out and just,
No, I think we'll leave it.
okay,
it would be good. Actually, it's good because if something were to come up that you had to do it, even if the actual goes over,
Yeah.
we should be tracking it in a line
Sure.
item. Like if
Yeah.
it's something
Fine.
special, not just regular postage.
okay.
What is line 560? You talk as a casually, I have no idea what it is.
Upper Valley
it's the
Lake Zone
dues.
Regional Planning Commission.
Okay,
So that is a organization that we were not involved, traditionally, we always had been. And then the previous administration kind of pulled us out of that, and we were, us and Grafton were the only towns within 100 miles that weren't involved. So a few years ago, we re-upped, and what they do is they help with, planning processes, they can help with grants, they can help with administering money from grants. They're a good source of,
They're a resource, like if we wanna,
Yeah.
we wanna put something out for
Yeah.
a bid, they will assist with that.
you find it useful, John?
We get some benefit from it. We get a big discount on the books we buy. It's
Not $6,000. right?
It's not $6,000.
But they also, as part of the Upper Valley Lake Sunapee Planning Commission, they took over our hazardous waste removal. So they actually go to multiple towns and they have a contractor that does it, but they manage the whole thing.
That dues fee is well worth it for the
Yes.
hazardous waste.
Okay, that's a thinking.
And Bob,
Get something out of what the master, but the planning board, it doesn't take the big chunk, so. Our perspective is skewed a little bit.
this fee,
Happens to be in their
this
budget.
year, they also provided some effort on the master plan, on analysis of the master plan survey results. They kind of you know, they gave us percentages and what, some preliminary.
Yeah, that's in the 390 line.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying.
Thank you.
All right, so the changes we've made are to line 240, $100 is the budget committee's recommendation. 625 is a 0. 390 is 5,000, and the others we all accept as they are. Is that accurate?
Yeah, yes, with one caveat,
Sure.
the EOC, have you got that buried someplace else, or is that in this account this year?
The EOC is in the buildings. 4194, we'll go to next meeting.
Okay, all right. Fine.
Why is there money from the planning board budget that goes to the EOC?
At least in 1 year, EOC money got put in the planning board account.
All right, moving on. Any other business? Let's see, do we have any update on communication, education discussion?
Not really. We've had a couple of back and forths, but.
Okay. All right. Next meeting is the 16th, not the 18th, it's the 16th. Any other business?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
He didn't ask that.
What was in that drink you were drinking?
Thank you all. Good job tonight. Thank you. That was an old one. There was an old one that Mike sat down.
And then,
I sat down and updated.
Oh, wait.
yeah, I had the one.
Yeah.
Well, 7:30
That was